Elias. So Kale Wolf $3.30 into $2.90 in the last sort of half an hour or so, and holding about 38% of the overall investment, so very good support. Elias did open a bit shorter than its current price. Now, earlier on in the week was...
Moved off Land Legend. The gates are back in the Kingston town, and Elias jumped well off the inside. Golden Path being sent forward wide out, together with Serpentine. So it's Elias on the inside as Serpentine. Zardozi's got a good spot on the inside of Golden Path. Land Legend pretty handy, but being restrained with Wolf the outside, 3 wide in the early part. Followed then by Valiant King, who's taken a thrust in you. The New Zealander is going to settle last of all. Very good pace here, and Serpentine goes on with it. And Serpentine leads the way by 2 lengths. On the stablemate Elias for the trail. 2 off to Golden Park without any cover. It sits on the outside of Zardozi. And 1.5 lengths to Land Legend, who races in a clear 5th. They're followed then by Valiant King in this well-strung out field. 1 length then to the favourite Wolf, followed by Allegron. Then came Carla Poor. Back in the field is Military Mission, parked on the inside of Adelaide River. 2 off to Athabaskan from Zarex, smothered up on the fence. 2 off to Star of India from El Bodigan. Trust in You is the last one. 700 metres to go, and Serpentine is really running in the lead. Serpentine by 2. Elias holding down second for the time being. Land Legend pulls out. Zardozi on the fence from Golden Path. Land Legend shoved along now, and Wolf with good cover coming around the turn. And Serpentine tries to keep up the gallop. 1 length to Elias. Zardozi the inside, then Golden Path, and now Wolf getting to the extreme outsiders. Elias takes the lead now at the 250. Elias gets a length clear with Wolf bridging the margin on the outside. It's Elias and Wolf, the 2 favourites fighting it out. Elias the inside at Wolf. Elias kicking hard and won the Kingston town. Elias a half length to Wolf. Golden Path third, followed in fourth by Serpentine. Then Land Legend from Zardozi further back.
Oh, he's a beauty, this horse. He arrived in Australia. He had his first ever start in June. He won the Lord Mayor's Cup listed level, tipped out for a spell, wins the Premier's Cup Group 3 level. Now the Kingston Town Stakes, and Katie, he was 21st in order of entry for a Caulfield Cup. That all but assures him of a start in the race. Both.
Wow, he's unbeaten here in Australia, and
Tom Kitten is the favourite. Tom Kitten is the favourite, $3.60 on Wednesday when markets were first posted, and he's really hovered around that price for the last few days. He's currently $3.70. He did touch $3.90. We hold about 41% of the overall investment on Tom Kitten, and he's a pretty easy...
Go. Racing here. Tom Kitten and Kintyre jump well. So did Freedom Rally send forward, and Felix Majestic being sent forward as well. And he loves to lead, Felix. Felix Majestic takes the lead away from Freedom Rally. There's no Fearson up there on the speed in the early stages. We've got Scarlet Oak pretty handy, who sits down on the rails. Airman is pretty prominent as well, and now Kintyre is going forward pretty deep on the track. Rustic Steel as well. Rustic Steel's right off the track. Gringotts midfield. Tom Kitten behind. Cafe Millennium out wide. Then McHale the rails from Amenable. And now Rustic Steel had dropped back to last of all. Felix Majestic in front, and now Fearson. Fearson's got going on the outside, and the usual suspects are at it in the lead now. Felix Majestic from Fearson. Kintyre deep. Freedom Rally between runners, followed by Scarlet Oak and the white cap down on the rails. McHale behind. Then Gringotts from Airman. Tom Kitten's back on the outside of Amenable. Rustic Steel and Cafe Millennium into the straight now, and Felix Majestic extends the lead. 2, 3, Scarlet Oak, Freedom Rally, Kintyre, Airman down the outside. McHale's getting a rails run. Tom Kitten's got lots of work to do. Felix Majestic at the 200, leads by 2 or 3 on McHale. Then came Airman. Tom Kitten's taking forever to wind up. Felix Majestic, and now McHale bursting through, and here's Gringotts late. McHale and Gringotts, they hit it. Oh, photo. McHale and Gringotts. Gringotts lunging on the wire. Felix Majestic's finished third. Then came Amenable, Kintyre, Airman. Tom Kitten didn't wind up today from Rustic Steel. Then Cafe.
This is at the line. Rachel King's asking for the ultimate effort as she just put his head down on the line. And Tom
just getting the bob down there from Rachel King, just getting the bob down at Gringotts, which was so good furlong up the straight. And once he got out, he flashed. The incarnation of her sire, the Autumn Sun, in the way that she looks and also the way that she gallops.
the 3-year-old fillies. Amina, Manal, they race again today, but the new blood, Katie, is Autumn Glow. Do you stick with your prediction?
Glow favourite, now $2.30 on tab fixed odds. That was the same price they went up on Wednesday. She did bottom out at about $1.95, and they're just pushing the boundaries closer to start time, now out to $2.30. Manal, when I arrived on course this morning, was as much as $3.90, is now $3.20, so best back to beat the favourite. Amina has been 6.
And the T-Rose Stakes. Set to fly and away they go now. Snow and May a bit tardy out off the inside, and Manal jumped particularly well. So do Autumn Glow on the outside, is moving up on the outside of Manal. Pretty steady tempo in the early part. At Erno's Cube pushes through on the rails, going to third from Bella Khadijah. They're followed then by Snow in May from Maud Territories. Taken back, Amina will park on the outside of Elmore Zillow. So it's Manal in front, hacking along in the lead by a length to the favourite Autumn Glow. They're followed by Erno's Cube, railing to third, Bella Khadijah, wide out around Lazura. Then Snow in May from Maud Territories, Elmore Zillow, and a half the outside to Amina. So about 7 lengths covering the field inside the 800, and Manal being cuddled by a half length now to Autumn Glow. Followed then by Erno's Cube, right on the back of the speed from Bella Khadijah and Lazura, right there between runners. Further back to Snow in May, more Territories, Elmore Zillow, and on the outside Amina is last of all. So it's Manal and Autumn Glow, the two favourites, stride for stride, turning for home, and Manal on the fence just leads from the Autumn Glow, just given a live and up down the outside, and now Autumn Glow lays down the challenge to Manal. Autumn Glow and Manal, stride for stride. Erno's Cube the fence, and then came Lazura. It's Autumn Glow. She's really starting to use this action of hers, and the fillies bounding away with the T-Rose. Autumn Glow remains unbeaten. Jumping out of the ground, Snow in May's in a photo for second with Manal, followed by Lazura. Then came Erno's Cube from Elmore Zillow, more Territories, Amina, and Bella Khadijah was last to finish.
Is she good? Damn straight she's good. She's a Group 2 winner now and aiming towards the Group 1. She's by the Autumn Sun. A mile will not stop her. The obvious favourite from a flight stakes point of view. She's actually a nomination. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't she an absolute star? I must say, Jane,
and she was really, really winding up strongly. You could see Manal was trying her very, very best. She probably just reaches her top at the 1,400 metres, but she still ran super. And you can see the charges, a few really good performances, more Territories, Snow in May. Gosh, there's a lot to like about.
And then also keep an eye on the top two out of the Kingston Town, maybe both for a Metropolitan, even perhaps Caulfield Cup chances with Alias seeing off Wolf. Autumn Glow continues to grow in stature. She was a comfortable winner of the T-Rose yesterday. This is Chris Waller's 4th victory in the race, and she seems to have a similar profile to the previous winners, Fox Play, Funstar and Zugotcha. The flight stakes is at her beck and call.
Yeah, I think she'll be even better at a mile, so good luck beating her in a flight stakes if she doesn't come to the end of the first prep, because it is, what will be 4th run first prep, which is almost just where it starts to get a little bit of a query. But you back Chris Waller, and he's so good at winning flight stakes and getting these fillies right. And the Autumn Sun, I'd think a mile's going to be even better for her. I think she's better than those fillies at the moment. Yeah, she was in a controlling position in that race, very moderately run, just really controlled it outside the lead there. But yeah, she's looking really good. But yeah, right what you say, it's her first prep, and you know, but Chris is really good at usually managing those type of horses. She does look, and she's pretty versatile. She can take up a position and well, I love that.
Race anywhere. Yeah,
she's been getting back and storming home in the first couple, and now she's taking a position. So.
And a wonderful field, Em.
Tommy Berry back on board Zugotcha.
is running out of her skin today.
Yeah, already with a Group 3 winner next to her name. Well, here is Fangirl, and she is just a star. Love her rattling home like she always does. She did that in the Wink Stakes first up. She's had a few weeks in between runs, but her pattern, it's heart and mouth stuff, but she's skinny in the market.
Yeah, absolutely.
Went up $2.50 on Wednesday when markets were first posted. Obviously, that was the wrong price, and our punters quickly took that. Now, when I got to the races this morning, was $2 even. She came into as short as $1.70. That's in the last 10 minutes, just back out to $1.75 now, but obviously very good money to firm them those flux so close to start time. Royal Patronage has been 5 to $4.60 in the last 10 minutes. Zoo Gotcha, $3.60 earlier in the week, now out to $4.
Stand by. Racing now. Royal Patronage wasn't great out, and Fangirl from the outside draw has been taken back. Bit of speed here. Major Bill pushes on the outside of Zougotcha. Detonator Jack handy in third. Then came Hinge. Royal Patronage next, moving up on the outside of my O'Brien. 2 after Navajo Peak, and Fangirl is going to settle at the tail of the field. So Major Bill puts the speed on at the 1200. Major Bill by a length and a half. Zougotcha on a long range strides to second, and Detonator Jack third. Couple after Hinge on the outside of my O'Brien. Royal Patronage is back third last in the run from Navajo Peak, and Fangirl is last. So there's only 2 lengths between the 2 favourites in the rear section of the field, and Major Bill at $51 shows the way at the 800 metres by a length on Zougotcha. Then Detonator Jack. Hinged is 1 out, 1 back, followed by my O'Brien, Royal Patronage, Navajo Peak, and Fangirl sees them all. About 7 lengths covering the field. Major Bill continues to roll along at the 600. Extends the margin to a length and a half now on Zougotcha. Detonator Jack being cuddled on the fence, followed by Hinge. Now Royal Patronage starts a run from my O'Brien the fence. Fangirl getting onto Royal Patronage's back, and Navajo Peak's last of all, but Major Bill's gone further in front up the rise by 3. Detonator Jack off the fence. Zougotcha's had it. Royal Patronage running on, and so's Fangirl on the outside. Major Bill's coming back to them. Here's Fangirl and Royal Patronage wide out. Fangirl moved up. Through the middle is my O'Brien. But Fangirl, she bounces back. That's arrogant. She was toying with him at the end, and Fangirl, a brilliant winner of the 7 stakes, beating the roughie my O'Brien. Photo for third. Detonator Jack, Major Bill, Royal Patronage got a bit tired late, followed by Navajo Peak, then Hinged, and Zougotcha did the chasing and weakened out of it.
Oh, she's good. She's just so good, isn't she? Chris Waller's been so patient with her. She's a 6-year-old mare who's had 27 starts, 9 wins, $7.8 million before. Today she goes over the $8 million barrier. Katie, J-Mac knows what's underneath.
What an electric turn of speed she possesses.
Yeah, it was very good. It was good to watch. It's hard to make up ground today. And I said to James pre-race, just leave it to you because I don't know if she could come.
Week for the stable. I can understand you being emotional with Riff Rocket, and he was a star, but he was a star on the rise as well. There's no doubt we didn't get to see the best of him, so I can understand, especially for this ownership group. Debbie's just up there. It means a lot.
Yeah, it's a tough week, but it's an amazing industry. These horses that were looked after so well. And when you lose one, when it's out of your control, it's really tough.
This has effectively replaced the George Main that used to be on this day and has been rebranded as the King Charles. J-Mac and Waller again, and some emotion attached to this one after the sad demise of Riff Rocket during the course of the week. A little bit of a tonic for Debbie Kapitas and Chris Waller with Fangirl. This was very comfortable in the end, and she asserted herself.
She was better than her opposition here, and she showed it, wasn't she? My O'Brien was a terrific run. He's a bit of an underrated horse. He'll come down for a Toorak probably, or go to an Epsom and run a lot better than his price suggests, as he often does. But, yeah, she's a different class to this opposition. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with her going forward. I know the King Charles will be her main target.
Love her to back up into the Cox Plate off what we saw last year.
She had no luck last year, did she? So the Cox Plate's an option, but the Champions Mile out of a King Charles, they looked the 2 absolute perfect races for her.
Be a bit of placement, perhaps.
I think it's fair to say you're going to find yourself with a spot in the Everest. It's part of the $3 million sprint series in Sydney. These are all going to run very, very well in it, possibly win it. So I think if we look at all the sprint races...
Posted on Wednesday, the tab put up $4.60 each of 3. Lady of Camelot, I Am Me and Private Eye. Let the punters decide. They decided that I Am Me should be favourite. Came into as short as $2.40. Just back out to $2.50 today. Private Eye, as much as $6.50 about 15 minutes ago, back into $5.50. Mumbai Muse, we're seeing good support for this horse. Now opened $15 this morning, now into $8.50, so good support there late. Steffi Magnetica likewise, as much as $12 today, now $9.50. Afcax out to $10. Lady of Camelot, they cannot write its name, $4.60. It's now $10 as well.
Ready and racing. Way to the Stars began very sharply in the middle. Marzu and our Kobe Son away well. Followed then by I Me. He's going to position up fourth on the rails. Deep out Private Eye looking for a spot. Lady of Camelot and Cold Crusher going underneath. They're followed by Dragonstone, Mumbai Muse after cabin, and Steffi Magnetic settles down last. Now Private Eye's drifting right back through the field as Way to the Stars scampers along as it loves to do. By 2 lengths there at the 600 from Marzu, and the favourite I Me goes to third. Our Kobe Son next. Lady of Camelot wide together with Cold Crusher. Then came Mumbai Muse, so they straighten up, and Way to the Stars, the long leader by 3. I Me, those cutting it down quickly on the inside of Marzu. 2 further back to Mumbai Muse, our Kobe Son. Steffi Magnetic looking for room on the rails. 3 across the track now. I Me moved up on the inside of Marzu. Steffi's trying to squeeze through behind I Me, Marzu. Steffi up the fence. I Me just in front, and I Me got in. Ahead on the line to Steffi Magnetica. Marzu third, then Dragonstone, Mumbai Muse, Private Eye wide out. A gap back to Lady of Camelot.
Chris Waller, whether it be that man, James McDonald, or Kieran Maher. I.M.E. wins the Group 2 shorts, defeats Steffi Magnetica. So many good runs in and around, but just so honest.
Yeah, well, he drew barrier 2, so he was always going to fall into that spot, so you can't give him too much credit there, Richo, but he is absolutely on fire, and she is a top-quality mare. She puts herself on speed, but she can ride that hot speed and take a seat if she needs be, and just was really strong late. But how about the run of Steffi Magnetica? Huge and massive improvement.
He who's just turning up to the races and winning, making it 4 from 5 in its career so far at Randwick. In behind, Steffi Magnetica's the watch run here. This was a good performance from the Stradbroke winner. She's certainly growing in stature for Bjorn Baker as well. And Quinny, well done. Dragonstone, just in the middle of a market update ahead of the next at Caulfield. Gave you a sight, hanging on for 4th.
Who said men can't multitask? I mean, just spit out that market update and watch Dragonstone narrowly miss getting into 3rd. But no, Joe Pry's doing a terrific job with him, and hopefully he can get back on.
Perhaps that sort of next tier down of the Everest form, are we thinking?
Yeah, possibly. But some of those horses are going to run well in an Everest too. You know, you've got to make up the field somehow. Yes. Private Eye was good down the outside, I thought as well.
I thought Steffi
down the outside, I thought as well.
I thought Steffi Magnetic was terrific, and so was Private Eye. They'll you think there'd be slots for them coming in at Everest?
So a bit traffic.
I wish I'll win a $5 favourite, and it'll be interesting to see what he does Friday night in the Manikato, because if he runs really well, maybe that $5 will tighten up a little bit. But if he underperforms, it's going to be even more intriguing. Outside of him, we've got $8 for both Bella Nipotina, Giga Kick and Sunshine in Paris. Traffic Water 9, Jolly Star 10, and Growing Empire an $11 chance. So such a
one wild card there that if he gets in form, will start a lot short on the price. I think it's Growing Empire. So, look, there's no doubt at the moment. I wish Owen deserves to be favourite, and of what he's done, I'm
a little nervous here for Another Will. $1.50 at the moment. We've seen 3 favourites drawn gate 1 all go under thus far. This is our 4th favourite to have that same barrier draw. Silmarillion didn't necessarily get the...
And they are racing, and Another Will from barrier 1 was the best out from Wishlaw Lass Light Infantry Man. Run Harry Run from the deep is also forcing up. Now Buffalo Rivers got to 5th, and then came Jimmy the Bear, Bermudez and Showmanship, who was a little bit tardy at they reached the 900 metres. Run Harry Run wants a bit of a piece here, but I don't think that's going to happen because Buffalo River is right on its outside. Wishlaw Lass is a length and a half away 3rd, and then came Another Will, who's right on their hammer and tack 4th on the inside, and they get away about 5 lengths in front of Jimmy the Bear Light Infantry Man, 4 lengths Bermudez and Showmanship at the 500 metres. So it's Run Harry Run and Buffalo River coming up towards the corner from Wishlaw Lass, who's attempting to keep Another Will in. Another Will just hunting for runs back on the inside, yet to be called upon, and a run's about to appear, and they're 4 lengths Jimmy the Bear and Under the Whip Light Infantry Man. Run Harry Run, oh, it got tight, came in on top of Another Will, who has to try and pick its feet up. Wishlaw Lass is there on the outside, followed by Buffalo River. It's on the inside, Another Will. It does pick up, it lifts, it extends a length and a quarter. Wishlaw Lass, a few worrying moments, but Another Will is too good. Bring on the Toorak. 2nd Wishlaw Lass, 3rd Run Harry Run, then Jimmy the Bear, Buffalo River Light Infantry Man, Bermudez as well back in the field, and Showmanship was last.
Oh, it looked very, very messy at the top of the straight and continued to cause worry as we headed down towards that. Simply way too good for that opposition. Jamie Carr had to make a few decisions. She decided to go to the inside and work him in.
Blake Shin didn't realise that he had one on his inside there, and wow, you can see him there just nearly get put through the fence, but too big, too strong, and a great
progression a couple of years ago. You feel like Another Will's going on a Group 1 path.
I want to wax lyrical about Another Will because I think he's a Group 1 horse, but I also really want Ollie.
She didn't want to be any part of the fence, and I've noticed it's become noticeable that Jamie, when she does draw in, she likes to get off the fence when she can, and I can understand that a little bit being on a short price favourite, because you do have a little bit of a target on your back if you're on an odds on and you've drawn inside. But if you're going to come out and try and work your way out, well then, you know, if you've got dangers around you, they're not going to hand it to you and let you just come out like that. But, you know, obviously she went back to the inside. Blake didn't appear to have seen that she was there, and then shifted in and tightened her up. So, unfortunately, Blake got a suspension out of that.
So that suspension is 10 meeting.
At her most recent effort. So $3.40 is the price at the moment. Perhaps a horse that drawn a little wide might be the place to be if you were listening to Richo and his...
And away they go. Crosshaven away only fairly. Jungle Jim out fast with Ashford Street over towards the rails. Ashford Street is going to lead from Jungle Jim, and they get 2.5. Chinny. Ashford Street the leader, 700 metres to go. By a half length, Jungle Jim, 3 lengths, Chinny Boom outside of It's Our Time. A good 3 lengths, the Inferno. A length and a quarter, Ray Magnario, who's 8 off the lead from Lem Picker. They were followed by Jimmy Star and well back Commemorative, Crosshaven and Von Hawk as they come up to the turn. 400 to go, it's Ashford Street and also Jungle Jim carving out good splits by 3 lengths. It's Our Time, Chinny Boom, the Inferno, Lem Picker, Ray Magnario. Commemorative and Jimmy Star are a mile off, hooking to the outside, but Ashford Street still going. 200 metres to go, 3 lengths. It's Our Time, Ray Magnario and Jimmy Star flying. Ashford Street needs the line, Tippy towing, Jimmy Star driving. Put in a really big lunge to make it interesting. Ashford Street or Jimmy Star, a photo. Ray Magnario and Commemorative behind them from It's Our Time. Then
photo all round. It was a driving finish in the end. Ashford Street needed the post, and Jimmy Star was coming with such momentum. He's been able to get over the top. So Jimmy Star beats Ashford Street from Ray Magnaty, but it was Ashford Street, Blake Shin, who was able to take it out in the end, Katie.
I've got him on top, and I thought he was so unlucky first up.
I loved your interview with Kieran Maher when you asked about him. He said, I love that horse.
Yeah.
That's got to hold some weight.
Here, the punters are keen. The Sportsbet punters are queuing up to get aboard this horse. Of course, runner-up at its most recent performance behind Pericles, $3.50. It's been a good go in the past 10 or 15 minutes. St. George, so incredibly unlucky. Never got a run at them, the big grey, but draws down inside again here. Gate number 2, so might need some luck at some stage as well. Q10 horse runner here, but immediacy has been all the rage with punters at $3.50 here in race number.
Gates crashing away. La Don de Vie away fairly with Francesco Guardi and Penny Wecker out the back. Beginning well, Gear Up with Future History and Just Fine from the deep. St. George is going to lob in 4th place from Care Tempesta. Then came Positivity on the inside. Immediacy is on a limb and trying to find a position, and Mate's kicking up underneath a bit with tempo by 2.5 lengths. Future History in 2nd place, about 2 lengths to Gear Up outside of Positivity. A length and a half away next in the field is St. George, one of the favourites. Fancy Man outside of Akita Sushi. Then Care Tempesta. Next along the inside is a Maid as they're about to run through halfway at the 1,000 metres. Immediacy got one off the fence but had to drag back as a result. Banker's Choice around it. Fizzes it up as they reach the 950. A length and a half La Don de Vie, and they were followed by well back the Map with also Penny Wecker and Francesco Guardi. So it's Just Fine the leader. 800 metres to go. Got a little bit of a breather by a length of Future History, but the speed's been pretty good. A length and a half Positivity, and then came Gear Up, who's niggled at before the corner. Fancy Man next, followed by St. George. 2 lengths to Banker's Choice and Care Tempesta. Further back is Akita Sushi. Immediacy has about 9 to pick up. Then came La Don de Vie, the Mapper Maid and Francesco Guardi. Future Future History moves up on the outside of Just Fine as they reach the 300 metres. They're a length and a half in front, running up behind those horses. Positivity, Gear Up, and St George right down the outside. It's Future History at the 200. Positivity, Gear Up. St George, the outsider, still whacking on. Future History kicks at the 100 metres just in front. Positivity lifting with St George. Future History, it's going to be a head bobber with Positivity. Future History or Positivity, it's on the nod from St George and Gear Up. Next to finish in the race was Fancy Man and Care Tempesta. Immediacy didn't come on. The Map Banker's Choice, La Don de Vie. Just Fine and Made, Francesco Guardi, Akita Sushi, and at the tail, Pennywecker.
Geez, four-way go here in the MRC Foundation Cup over the 2,000 metres. Photo all placings, but the naked eye tells us that it might be Positivity there in the centre in the pink and green colours, who was scratched in the last event last week because of the heavy condition.
History, wasn't he brave? He really pinned his ears back and wanted it, but it was too strong. Positivity. Harry Coffey, a good ride.
Performance from the Forsman Galloper.
Well, I think it was just a really nice ride, and it was a race dominated by those, aside from Just Fine, who led and I think is racing well below his best. It was otherwise second, third, fourth and fifth in running who finished first, second, third and fourth and really had the right runs and dominated things from their position in running. But there were horses right back in the field who probably didn't have much of a hope from where they settled that have all done a really good job. You know, Immediacy's been doing his best work late. I thought Francesco Guardi couldn't have done much more from where he settled, and La Don de Vie was quite a good run for a horse who's only going to improve for the run. So, yeah, there's a few back in the field that I think can be followed. I thought St George was a really nice Caulfield Cup trial. He looked the winner at the top of the straight, but just doesn't have a turn of foot, just suggesting he wants it even further. Might not be a Caulfield Cup, might be more getting to Flemington for St George, but yeah, he's run really well.
Future History kicks at the 100 metres just in front. Positivity lifting with St George. Future History, it's going to be a head bobber with Positivity. Future History or Positivity, it's on the nod from St George and Gear Up.
So 2 years in a row, the Heatherly has been the form race to provide us with the winner of the MRC Foundation Cup. Righto, Ben, it's kind of like MasterChef. You're going to sort of pull the mystery box challenge or the cloche back for us and reveal who this horse is that you like at Triple Figs?
I just thought that the horse that was a bit of a boom horse a couple of springs ago in Francesco Guardi just showed that he was going quite well second up, and he's run the fastest closing splits of the race there. He might be a sneaky hope in a Caulfield Cup, and just looking around there was $101 available. So he's
for a Melbourne Cup. But here's the feature, and there's been a good go. Plaster Carousel is now a clear-cut favourite and a good launch. Well, she's first up. You know, she was second of Via Sistina, first up over a mile and a quarter. This is 1,800, but she's prepped up well, and the money's there to say she's the one to beat from that gate 5. Pericles now soft, $3 out to $3.
Third in the Lawrence, then winning the first edition of the So You Think at the Valley is the story of his prep to date.
Yeah, he was far too good last start, winning in fast time there at Moonee Valley, and might now be at peak fitness third up.
Look, what a progression this horse made in that most recent campaign, Zed. Albury Cup, Wagga Cup, third in the Doomben Cup, and then made the Q22 a one-act affair. It was an outstanding 3 and a bit lengths. It was a good warm-up for what he produced in the Chelmsford.
Yeah, well, where he went forward and won, took advantage of the track pattern there. He may have further improvement to come third up. I think he's suited at 1,800. And look, you can make a case that he was better than Plaster Carousel in both times.
Carousel having its first Victorian run for Anthony and Sam Friedman, brought Group 1 form lines and a 7-figure price tag out of the Northern Hemisphere. 2 runs in Australia, second to Via Sistina in the Ranvet, and then make of the Queen Elizabeth run what you will.
Look, I've liked her work in both the Cranbourne Trail and the 1,200-metre Mornington Jump.
In our country, Russian Camelot, So You Think, Weekend Hustler, Elstrom, Mummify and Northerly on 2 occasions.
Over all of them, I'm with Plaster Carousel here. I thought that she looked
back late here on race day now, Amy. Your pick of the yard and punter's favourite too. So Plaster Carousel first up. Mark Zara absolutely looks a treat, and heavily back to win the Underwood, the Group 1 Underwood. Pericles out to 460 now.
Mark Zara with urgency goes over to the barriers. Group 1 action, and they're away. Pretty good line too. Wheator's going back to the end of the field with Buckaroo. Plastic Carousel jumped well, with also Bois d'Argent. Munamek holding its position the inside early. Duke de Sessa, Vow and Declare from the deep, and Pericles forcing up too. They were followed by Deny Knowledge, who's about 7th at this stage outside of Knight's Choice. A length and a half away, Faulkner Park, Coco Sun, Buckaroo and Wheator as they climb up to deeper, followed by Knight's Choice. Next in between horses, Plastic Carousel and Deny Knowledge around it, followed by Faulkner Park as they run off the back section. Next is Buckaroo, Coco Sun, and 2 lengths away to Wheator. Duke de Sessa is the leader to the side of the course, 1,000 metres to go, and the speed's been okay by about a length and a half to Pericles and Munamek. There's Deny Knowledge forcing up 4 deep. Vow and Declare is 3 deep at the 800 metres. 3/4 of a length, Bois d'Argent, who currently sits in 6th place. A length, Buckaroo, and then came along the inside Knight's Choice, and Williams getting animated. Further back is Plastic Carousel, who just loses its pitch slightly from Coco Sun, Faulkner Park and Wheator. Duke de Sessa, the leader, approaching the corner at the 450. 3/4 of a length in front of Pericles, trying to hunt it down. 2 lengths to Bois d'Argent. Buckaroo, the widest, is starting to really wind up, and behind those is Knight's Choice. Plastic Carousel is starting to run on in between horses, but Pericles went to the front. 250 out, grabbed by Buckaroo. Buckaroo takes the lead, draws 2 lengths in front of Pericles. Wheator from the back. It's all Buckaroo. Buckaroo storms away. A one-act affair. Buckaroo won it well. Wheator second, Pericles third, Photo fourth. Duke de Sessa, Deny Knowledge, then Plastic Carousel. Coco Sun, Vow and Declare, Knight's Choice. A gap, Bois d'Argent and Munamek at the tail of the field.
Buckaroo makes a one-act affair of the 2024 Henley Holmes Underwood. And Joe Moreira, the globetrotting superstar, has got his 4th Victorian Group 1 and his 3rd in concert with Chris Waller. Of course, he was the go-to man for Brazen Bow in winning at Coolmore and a Newmarket in 14 and 15. And almost a decade later, they reunite with the Chelmsford winner, who has looked sensational. What a difference Gelding's made to this horse. So in behind, Wheator and enormous.
That's the way how he won, isn't it? Yeah. He has a tricky manner in the gate. He wasn't really kind for me in there. Began a little bit worse than what we were hoping. Found it itself a little bit too far back, but as the race disenrolled itself, it kind of got him into the race. When I turned for home on the outside, with him with a great momentum, I was always confident he was going to get up. Nice horse makes jockey's life so much easier, isn't it?
Yeah. Spring features including the Metrop and the Cox Plate, based on what we saw yesterday. Where might he head?
Well, I think he's thrown his name as perhaps a genuine Caulfield Cup contender. This was a race where there were 2 horses that were probably really well suited in terms of being at peak fitness, third up, and hitting the races as a mini grand final almost, and they were Pericles and Buckaroo. And Pericles sat closer to the speed. Buckaroo had that nice run 3 wide with cover and was really dominant in the end. So, I think he needs to be considered as a genuine Caulfield Cup contender on the back of this performance.
So this is Joe.
Bois d'Argent, Buckaroo, the widest, is starting to really wind up, and behind those is Knight's Choice. Plastic Carousel is starting to run on in between horses, but Pericles went to the front. 250 out, grabbed by Buckaroo. Buckaroo takes the lead, draws 2 lengths in front of Pericles. Wheator from the back. It's all Buckaroo. Buckaroo storms away. A one-act affair. Buckaroo won it well. Wheator second, Pericles third, Photo fourth.
2 questions for you, Ben. So yourself and BZ went out and walked the track and gave our audience great insight prior to the Underwood on the spot to be, and that was the spot that Joe Moreira won. How significant do you think that was in the victory? And the other question is, are we just...
And I wish I was smart enough to back him, but we were talking about a pre-race yesterday that Plastic Carousel was your favourite, but Buckaroo was finishing all over her in a softly run Ranvet and actually beat her in a fast run Queen Elizabeth. So there was some merit to his form last preparation to suggest that he was over the odds anyway, and maybe he has gone to a new level as a gelding. So on the other come the last, so the track was starting to chop away because there was genuine give. It was probably more like a 4.5, closer to a 5 than a 4 yesterday, early in the day at least, and it was chopping away. And I think by this stage of the day, Buckaroo's got into the absolute A ground.
Ollie, you've won 3 Underwoods.
Well, obviously, he was dominant there. You know, he put a margin on the rest of the field. So, but as Ben said, he was the fit horse on the day, along with Pericles. But you like the way he put the margin on him. And I noticed early...
Place to Carousel had to have the reshotting before the race. There was a bit of a delay getting her into the barriers. Now, when we're on a horse as a punter, we just cringe and we never want to see it. If you're riding a horse, walk us through your mindset when that happens, when there's a setback, and how minor or not minor is it?
It's not ideal, but if the horse is a little bit unsettled by it...
Zara, Place to Carousel. Yeah, got herself into a bit of a state pre-race, which wasn't ideal. Travelled sort of alongside the winner, would have been preferred to come out, so had to go in. Still didn't really attack the line like we like. Yeah, I think she just needs to be a bit more calm before the race, and a little bit more cut in the ground would help.
These races, aside from the winner though, we did have to ease most of the runners. Faulkner Park was the most notable drifter, as you can see, was the second elect and now a $15 chance. But Warmonger heads the betting and actually firmed from $8.50 into $7 while at home eating oats yesterday. Buckaroo now on the second line of betting. So it will be interesting to see.
It is for the Colts and Geldings at Group 3 level. What will we know about the 3-year-olds and their spring 3-year-old crown at a mile in October here at Caulfield? Beniscari's numbers on screen. Feroci at a price to defeat.
We've got a good rally now. It's Private Life joining Wannerua as equal favourite now. So a really good push for Chris Waller and also Joe Moreira to go back-to-back for the features here. $4.40 each at 2, Private Life. The way this horse is trending in the market will start favourite. And our Angel Capital is a $15 chance in a Caulfield Guineas and leads the way of all of these runners in the futures markets. There's 6 Sydney horses.
And they're racing. And Depth of Character was slow away, second last to leave, with also Pieris, Wannerua the best to lead with Feroce, and also Bazasto and Public Attention, a line of 4 early. Bazasto took the trail to 4th. A length and a quarter, Angel Capital closer today, followed by Private Life. 2 lengths away to Red Aces off the back from Sergeant Major Epimels, and then came Depth of Character, and Pieris is last of all. Off the back section, 950 metres to go. Wannerua with an easy lead by a length and a half. Feroce, Bazasto. Then came out deeper, Public Attention, a length and a quarter, Angel Capital. Further back is Private Life, 3 wide with cover. A length away, Red Aces, and then came Sergeant Major. Further back is Epimels, Depth of Character, Pieris as they run by the 600 metres. Wannerua, one of the favourites, led by 3/4 of a length and starts to sool it up. From in second place, coming up to the corner, Feroce from Public Attention, Bazasto. Angel Capital needs an out. Private Life stoking to the outside, followed then by Sergeant Major, and under the whip, Red Aces. It's Wannerua, 300 metres to go. The first to straighten from Feroce. Angel Capital's weaving between horses. Public Attention's hanging tough on the outside. Private Life out wider. Bazasto runs on. Angel Capital 150 out, claims Wannerua. Then Private Life. It's Angel Capital just in front. Public Attention, Private Life dive. Don't get there. Angel Capital wins. A smart horse beats Public Attention, Private Life or Feroce in a decision for third, followed by Wannerua, Bazasto. Depth of Character, Red Aces, Pieris, well back Sergeant Major and
Night. He's going to be back here in 3 weeks' time with a genuine chance in a Caulfield Guineas, a race that, of course, is very close to his.
I thought it was shown us everything that we thought of the horse. He had to change direction, stop momentum, pick up again and find the line with the horses down the outside with
alongside the Underwood for importance in regards to what's to come in the spring. Angel Capital reinforced perhaps his position yesterday with his victory, Ben, that he's the best of those on Victorian soil heading towards the Guineas.
Yeah, I think what he confirmed is that he's the most brilliant horse in Victoria on dry ground out of this group. Still need to see him around. I do think it's going to get a lot tougher in the Guineas when you get the A-grade 3-year-olds coming down from the Golden Rose, and we'll see that next week with, the seat 1A is broadsiding, and you've got Linebacker and his Storm Boy heading towards, and I think they're the big 3 heading towards the Guineas, but certainly Angel Capital has put his hat in the ring. I thought there were a few other...
From Ben, and this horse just keeps doing it. So I'm a little bit like you. Is he You know, I think they're going to head towards the Guineas, but he still could be a fresh run on sort of sprinter too. I had a good look at the horse, and he's got a fair bit of length to him, but he does travel really well. Hit the line good there, but had the perfect run in the race and had his chance to win.
How much merit to see a colt?
The horse and Mick Price's there ran pretty well too. So pretty bunch finish, but I think they're nice colts, all very nice colts. But I'm a bit with Benny. I think broadsiding and also linebacker, they just look to be maybe a little bit above them at the moment. But they've got to come to Melbourne and get around Caulfield as well. Whereas these horses already in Melbourne.
Job done next Saturday and then goes to the Guineas second up. He's currently at $3.20. Linebacker at $6 second leg. Angel Captain seen as the biggest logical danger from Victoria at $7. And Stormboy is certainly intriguing. He's at
Pride of Jenny starting to paddle. She's a length and a half in front of Alligator Blood and Mr. Brightside. Pride of Jenny, this has been spectacular. Mr. Brightside is coming on now. Buffalo River at the 150. Pride of Jenny won't give in. And now Mr. Brightside is sprouting wings. Here he comes, Mr. Brightside over the top. He got up, Mr. Brightside. Mr. Brightside brought to the outside, 7 or 8 off Pride of Jenny. 3 legs Buffalo River. Now Mr. Brightside and Cascadian coming, but it's still Pride of Jenny. 100 to go. There's no stopping her. What a performance. Mr. Brightside looking to go back-to-back, chasing hard. Then Antino, they've split the field. Pride of Jenny's digging in. 3/4 a half. Mr. Brightside wearing her down. Pride of Jenny, Mr. Brightside, stride for stride, but Mr. Brightside back-to-back.
Absolutely mouth-watering clash, Simon Marshall.
Money for a 4-horse race. Well, the punters are saying it's a 2-horse race, and it's Pride of Jenny who has a nose well in front in terms of the turnover. She's the popular elect. She dropped into $1.80 from her opening quote at $1.95, back out to $1.95 because Brightside, he got out to that $2.10, and he's been...
Feel as though it's going to be between the two of them.
No, definitely not just going to isolate those two. Antino and Attrition there.
Stand by for a start. The bell's about to sound for another round between these two magnificent horses. In particular, Pride of Jenny and Mr. Brightside. A field of 4 and they're racing. And Antino missed the kick by a couple of lengths. Pride of Jenny, the inside, jumped well and led Mr. Brightside by about a length and a half after 200 metres. Then Antino and a Pride of Jenny now gets into a bit of a rhythm and puts up 4 lengths, Mr. Brightside. 2 for the back, Antino, and Attrition at the end of the field as they swing towards the back. So 1,000 to go. Pride of Jenny put up 5 lengths, and the crowd roars as she does it from Mr. Brightside second. 2 lengths, Antino, and Attrition at the end of the field. So it's Pride of Jenny, as she loves to do in splendid isolation, leading out by 6 or 7 lengths off the back section now. Pride of Jenny, it's almost 8 lengths, Mr. Brightside. Then came Antino in third, and Attrition last of the 4 as they swing by the school at the 600 metres. So it's Pride of Jenny. Now Bates just starts to row along a bit. She's 10 in front of Mr. Brightside. Then Antino and Attrition as they come up towards the corner. 450 metres to go. So it's Pride of Jenny, still about 8 lengths in front of Mr. Brightside. Williams is starting to get animated and goes for the Persuader. Then Antino. Pride of Jenny has a really good buffer. 200 to go. She's 5 lengths in front. Mr. Brightside's chipping away. Pride of Jenny trying to find the reserves at the 100. She's 3 in front of Mr. Brightside. It's all too late. Pride of Jenny has run them into the night. Pride of Jenny by a length and a half. Mr. Brightside, Antino. Last Attrition.
Oh, it was everything we thought it would be and then some. Declan Bates, you star. You know your girl so well and rode her accordingly. Mr. B, you were bloody brilliant. And Nelly got her. Oh, Lizzie, where do we start? There was highlights aplenty and the valley was rocking.
Absolutely rocking, Richo. You couldn't hear your name, as Maddie Hill was saying. 8 lengths, 10 lengths in front. The absolute atmosphere out here for 2 star performers. At one moment in time, you thought maybe Mr. Brightside could...
Oh, that was a fantastic race. The blood is pumping after that one, and those bold tactics that we just love to see from Pride of Jenny. Just watching it live, Simon, down the side, I thought for a few strides there, Brightside, he made up a lot of ground very quickly, and I thought he might get it tonight. But then when we switched back, she was just too tough.
Yeah.
That was rated to absolute perfection, and that must have given you chills.
It did today. I saw about 1,000, and then from the 800, I asked a lot of her today, but I knew around here on this ground, that's how we, we're up against the champion in Brightside, and had to do what I had to do to beat him. And look, I've
racing and brilliant job by Deck. He understands her so well, and the atmosphere tonight here was electric.
Here, Hutchie, he was very good at Flemington, winning last start. This is the Stud Stakes, Group 2 level for the 3-year-olds. He'll be the one they have to run down and catch with Blake Shin in the saddle, who's on fire. Evaporate, he's a winning machine. He's shooting for 4 in a row, and he just loves this track and trip at Moonee Valley, and he's rock solid at the $4.20, and there's Henline at $5.50 to cause an upset.
All clear given, and they're racing, and Detroit City away moderately, and no speed from Henline shortly after the start. Daggers wants a piece of the action and led from Dawn Service, and out wide Ruta Royale's trying to find a position. Garçon d'Espoir is also up there in the firing line and got Henline second last. Discreetly Blue at the back at the 950. So Daggers tries to turn it off, 3/4 of a length Dawn Service, and they're 2 lengths clear of Garçon d'Espoir and Ruta Royale. A couple of lengths Evaporate, Detroit City, and then came Henline, Discreetly Blue. Daggers now on the outside, Dawn Service, just wanting to pull a little bit, and they're 2 lengths Ruta Royale and Garçon d'Espoir. A length away Evaporate at the 650. Detroit City trying to get away from the fence, and then Henline, Discreetly Blue is last. Dawn Service is putting the pressure on Daggers here as they approach the 450 and the corner. They're a length and a half Ruta Royale. Evaporate sliding around the outside, 4 deep coming into it from Garçon d'Espoir, under pressure Detroit City, and then came Henline. Daggers, Dawn Service joined by Ruta Royale, and Evaporate made a line of 4 around the turn in the Stud Stakes, and Evaporate went for home. A length Ruta Royale. Daggers is battling on, and Henline late, but it's Evaporate, 100 metres to go, coming clear from Henline, and Evaporate wins. Evaporate by a length, Henline, Ruta Royale. Photo for 4th, Detroit City or Daggers, and then Garçon d'Espoir well back in the field, Discreetly Blue. And
well, Evaporate continues to progress through the ranks. That was impressive.
Yeah, it was impressive. It was a great ride from Michael D. Rides his horse.
Okay, Manicato, the feature race now, punters. Here we go, and it is on. Geez, I tell you what, $4.40 the field, and it's Growing Empire, that horse just there, who nearly bit the electric cord. Ooh, he's got his chompers out. That is into $4.20 here, Hutch. And he's rock solid. He gets the blinkers on for the first time. The heavyweight champ is I Wish I Win. $4.80 rock solid. Hey,
I'm hoping the 3-year-olds can stand up.
Yeah, same, Hutch. I think that it looks as a recipe for these types of races. I thought Hayasugi looked absolutely magnificent. She's come on.
Growing Empire. The money is coming into $3.80. Blinkers on first time, taking on the big boys. Good Lord, this is a good go. Craig Williams into $3.70. It's a red-hot crack. I Wish I Win with that's the next best supported.
They're ready, Signal racing in the Manicato. Johnny Rocker missed the start, 3 lengths. Climbing Star going back to second last. Estriella fired out with Growing Empire, followed by Cabal's Recommendation. Next in the field, Coleman got to 5th on the inside of Komochi Hayasugi. A length and a half, V8 Southport Tycoon. Towards the end, I Wish I Win, Climbing Star and Johnny Rocker. Estriella, 800 metres to go. Burning Rubber leading by about a length and a half. Growing Empire second, 2 1/4. Cabal's outside of Recommendation. A length and a half, Komochi Hayasugi, 6 off the lead between horses. Then came Coleman next the inside, fizzed up from V8 Southport Tycoon. Next Climbing Star, I Wish I Win, and Johnny Rocker last. Estriella trying to give her a breather before the corner at the 400 metres from Growing Empire, who's a half length away, stoked up. A length and a half, Cabal's Recommendation. Behind those, Hayasugi, Coleman. Into the straight, it's Estriella at the 200 metres. Growing Empire won't go away, followed by Recommendation. Growing Empire took the front. 100 metres to go from Estriella. Then Southport Tycoon. Growing Empire is in front, holding on. Southport Tycoon lunged but missed, I reckon. Growing Empire, I'd say, from Southport Tycoon. It will be a photo. They were followed by a wall of them. Estriella behind them got tired. Climbing Star, Coleman and Komochi. Then I Wish I Win, Recommendation, Hayasugi, Johnny Rocker. Behind those horses then was V8 and Cabalis at the end of the fields.
Outsiders got it right on the line. Southport Tycoon. Kira Mars Quinella the race, but it's a boil over. Southport Tycoon. We spoke to Kieran, and the question will be asked: did Craig just for a moment think he had the race with Growing Empire? Did he just for a stride sit up a touch, and Southport Tycoon nailed him on the line?
Well, Southport Tycoon certainly nailed him on the line. That was an inch perfect ride there. We've seen Mark Zara pull out some amazing performances in the past, and that has to be one of the very best. We could see he was back in the field, good speed as we would have envisaged in this type of race, and he was absolutely hutched, growing wings over those concluding stages, and just nailed a very
in front, where a couple of starts back, but let's hear from the winning rider. What a ride it was as well, right up the inside. Let's head out to Charlotte.
It's to get him late before he can see you coming, and yeah, lucky I know him.
Well, you did that well, and a group.
But he raced really well around the valley. He needed that first up run. I said to Nath, he went from a boy to a man over the break. He needed that first up just to get him back in the swing of things. A month between runs, trial. He sort of put the riding on the board in the trial. His sectionals were phenomenal late.
Everest, Growing Empire is 11 into 7 for an Everest, $7 into $2 for a Coolmore. Let's have a look at the last, the top two in the market. It seems to be where punters really want to put their money on, and it's Grinzinger Bell out to $3.50. Now tackling is Elsafina, the best backed, $3.90 into $3.50 each of two. Fire of Etna.
Ready and away. Osmose towards the inside, away moderately. And beginning well was Fire of Etna. Grinzinger Bell getting into her straps, and also Jenny La La as they reach that bottom corner. So after 300 metres, also kicking up on the inside is Maracana, showing a bit of lick. But the leader is Fire of Etna from Grinzinger Bell. Jenny last at the 900 metres. So the leader is Grinzinger Bell. Loves the front running tactics and led by a length and a tail, Jenny La La. Third is Fire of Etna. Lady Jones off the track, and Elsafina between horses. 3/4 of a length rumbled again, 3 wide with cover. Maracana's going back through the field now from second to none, Osmose, and last is Matriarch Rose. So with the less than 700 to go, Grinzinger Bell attempts to stack them up from Jenny La La, Lady Jones. Behind those horses, Fire of Etna, Elsafina, and then came Rumbled Again, who's going to come 4 deep on the final turn. They start to quicken now, then second to none, Osmose, Maracana, and dropping off Matriarch Rose. They come up towards the corner. Grinzinger Bell held together from Jenny La La. Lady Jones is hanging tough, 3 wide. Fire of Etna behind them. Elsafina's climbing over them, needs a run, and Rumbled Again with momentum. It's Grinzinger Bell at the 150 in front of Lady Jones, and then came Elsafina, who's getting out now. Lady Jones has been tough as teak. Elsafina's coming at her though, and got her. Elsafina won the last from Lady Jones. Then Grinzinger Bell all Rumbled Again. They were wide apart for third. Behind those horses, Jenny La La, and then came Maracana, Fire of Etna, second to none, Osmose, and at the tail, Matriarch Rose.
Oh, quality Perth mare, second Victorian start, jumps out of the ground. She was superb on a wet track, considering her dislike for it. Got on a dry track today. Runner up in a railway. She shows that class today. All she needed, Lizzie, was a little Blake Shin special, and he got out.
Oh, she was going to be a tragedy beaten if she wasn't able to get over the top of those horses. He had a lap full of horse in behind the speed. You could see that she was...
So much history. First run in 1870 and won by some giants of the track. Wakeful, Poseidon, Gloaming, Farlap won it twice. Peter Pan back in 1935.
And following the scratching of Methuselah, the favourite was Strathtay. Now $2.90 when I arrived at the races, now out to $3.10, so just a little easy. Campbell Dino bottomed out at around $3.70 earlier this morning, back out to $4.60 now, so it's on the drift, changing in the guard pretty solid around that $4.80 mark. And First Light, you're on Top Selection M. This has been the big mover. So $11 on Wednesday, even subject to the late scratching of Methuselah and 19 cents worth of deductions. If you took the $11...
Gates are back now, and they're off and racing. Campbell-Dino, widest out, has jumped out quite well. Think and Fly changing of the guard handy. Canberra Legend poking forward. Strathday Parks behind them. First Light taken back, and Waltham will sit back at the rear of the field. Changing of the guard pushing on there is going to head off Think and Fly, and Canberra Legend dipped into the margin a little bit at this point. And 3 lengths away to First Light, who's going to have to come from last at about 8 lengths off the lead to win it. So down the side of the course now, changing of the guard by 3/4 to Canberra Legend. Campbell-Dino just being niggled along by Clark to keep the mind on the job. Then Think and Fly, Strathday being pushed along by Ford on the outside of Waltham, and First Light starting to tack on again. Coming around the turn, and J Mac goes for home here on changing of the guard, quickly beating off Canberra Legend. Then came Campbell-Dino. Now Strathday and First Light starting good runs down the outside. 300 to go. Changing of the guard, 3 in front. First Light is closing in hard, and quickly First Light went past changing of the guard. Strathay's won pace, and First Light's come from last and is going to blow these away in the Colin Stephen quality. Oh, that's a win. First Light by 4 lengths. Changing of the guard kicked on for second, just in front of Strathday. Photo though. Get back to Waltham 4. Then came Campbell-Dino, Think and Fly, and Canberra Legend last.
Fascinating race that, but First Light, he settled back. He was happy for the speed to all unfold in front of him and then just have last crack of him. That's a really big win in the end for Chris Waller, Tommy Berry and First Light, who hasn't
horses as far as they give their owners such a wonderful thrill.
It left Gatsby's pretty short this morning when markets were posted after scratchings at 7:30 at around 165. He did get to 185. He's back to $1.75. Ikasara bottomed out at $3.40.
Got a big job on Stormboy coming up. Here's the Heritage for the 3-year-olds.
Ready to run. Off here in the Heritage Stakes. Perspiration missed the kick by 2. Winning Proposal jumped well. So did Ikasara the outside. And Ikasara's asked to go on with the job from Winning Proposal. Gatsby's holds third on the inside of Altoff, and 3 lengths away to Perspiration. So Ikasara cleared the field now, and Scampers 2 lengths clear from Winning Proposal. Gatsby's third on the rail, 1.5 lengths to Altoff and 2 to Perspiration. Ikasara down the side of the 750, a neat length on the lone filly of the field, Winning Proposal. Then Gatsby's third the inside, a half further back to Altoff being nudged along, and Perspiration sees them all. Ikasara comes around the corner, a length in front of Winning Proposal. Then Gatsby's will have to go back to the inside, Altoff to the outside. Ikasara at the 300 being challenged by the filly, Winning Proposal. Gatsby's the inside, and now Perspiration's winding up on the outside. They've all got a hope here. Perspiration the outside, Gatsby's the inside. Gatsby's and Perspiration. Perspiration's doing better, is it? Yes! Perspiration causes an upset. Perspiration edged out the favourite Gatsby's. Photo for third, Ikasara Winning Proposal, and Altoff finished last in a field of 5.
Geez, that was just extraordinary stuff, and Perspiration.
Gatsby's. We just need to see him with a bit of time on his side. I don't think we're seeing... He's a very good colt, but I don't think we're seeing the very best of him. So I'm happy to forgive him.
Market update, please, for the Golden Pendant.
Very interesting betting race. So Amelia's dual open favourite, 280 on Wednesday, and they immediately backed Semena. It went up 360, and very shortly they were almost equal favourites, and they have been since Thursday, basically. And as you can see, Amelia's dual's now 280. And Samana's at $2.90. In terms of the overall hold, however...
I would be thrilled to see her get this big type of race, even though it's not a Group 1.
Ready now for the Golden Pendant. There's the light stand. They're ready to run. And they're racing. Tropical Squall showing great speed out of the gates, and she'll lead for fun. Macarena jumped well. Amelia's duel being sent forward. Then Arctic Glamour from Sounds of Heaven. Samana being taken back, and a length off Legbart last of all. Tropical Squall's going to lead comfortably, and Macarena works her way into second, and Amelia's duel will have to sit one off the fence in third spot. 1.5 lengths then to Arctic Glamour on the inside of Sounds of Heaven. 2 lengths back in the field to Samana, is just over racing a little bit, and the grey Legbart is last of all at about 7 off the lead. So Tropical Squall ensures it's a genuine run race here for the mares today. Tropical Squall by 2 lengths on Macarena. 2.5 then to Amelia's duel. Arctic Glamour sits on the fence. from Sounds of Heaven, Lekvar, and now Samana dropped back to last. 600 metres to go. Tropical Squall in front by 3/4 to Macarena keeping tabs. Then came Arctic Glamour, who's poking through on the inside of Amelia's Jewel. Samana still last as they turn. Tropical Squall just in front, but now Macarena throws down the challenge on the outside, and Macarena hits the lead at the 250 by 2. Arctic Glamour going up the inside, then came Amelia's Jewel, and wider out Samana. Macarena at the 150, a length in front to Amelia's Jewel. In front, Macarena holding Arctic Glamour and Amelia's Jewel, and Macarena too good in the golden pendant by a length. Amelia's Jewel second, Arctic Glamour third, followed in by Lekvar clear fourth. Samana plodded up the straight, then Sounds of Heaven, and Tropical Squall got pretty tired again today.
Oh, they've been waiting to get a good stakes race into this mare for a long, long while. And Zach Lloyd, isn't he having a day out? That's his second scream, and cement themselves at the top of the pops in this Group 1 for the 3-year-olds.
And now worth a whopping $1 million. The Golden Rose has an impressive honour roll, with many
shortly. A stallion maker, and these are the top contenders. Broadsiding heads the market. He's already a 2-time Group 1 winner. He's first up into the Golden Rose today. Traffic Warden, he won the lead-up race, the Run to the Rose. He's a son of Street Boss. Storm Boy, the Magic Millions winner, bought for 20.
They are coming for broadsiding in a big way. So when markets first went up on Wednesday, he was $3.20 and hovered around that price until about 15-20 minutes ago. When they came into the mounting yard, was as much as $2.90, now $2.40, which is extraordinary given the amount of money we're holding on this race. It's been a big go for broadsiding. Traffic Warden is at $6. Storm Boy there, $4.80. Traffic Warden's been hard to lay. Linebacker's been volume of money we're holding. This is as big a betting plunge as you will see. $2.25 for broadsiding, number one. Here's your tab market.
Favourite, drawn the inside barrier, broadsiding. A heavily back favourite. Racing now. He jumped the right broadsiding, and Node was clearly sharpest into stride from Mayfair, and now Storm Boy's rolling forward out deep. They're followed by Traffic Warden in the thick of the action as well from Tropicus. Then came Emirate. Now broadsiding's in the mid part of the field. He's got plenty of space here, McDonald, if he wants to ease away from the rails. A length and a half to Linebacker, then Fearless and Clear Proof as last of all. Storm Boy rolls on with the job, and now he takes the lead, Storm Boy, by 2 on the stablemate Node. Mayfair third the rails. 2 lengths to Traffic Warden, then came Emirate. Length and a half to Tropicus. Broadsiding stayed down on the fence. Length and a half to Linebacker from Fearless and Clear Proofs last of all. 7.50 to go. Storm Boy in front by a half length now to a Node. Then Mayfair on the inside of Traffic Warden. Further back to Emirate. Tropicus the outside. Broadsiding racing cluttered up. Linebacker the outsides come off the bridle as they come around the turn. And it's Storm Boy in front by a length to a Node. Then Mayfair. Traffic Warden pulling out. Broadsiding's into the clear now. Getting to the outside. 4 off the lead. Storm Boy at the 250. Storm Boy 2 lengths cleared from Mayfair. Broadsiding and Traffic Warden closing in. Storm Boy is the leader from Traffic Warden, and broadsiding the outside. Broadsiding and Traffic Warden, they'll fight it out. Traffic Warden, broadsiding bobbed, won the Golden Rose. The champion T-Roll broadsiding knocked off the stablemate Traffic Warden. Flushing home Mayfair to third, Storm Boy fourth. They were followed in by Tropicus. Further back then to Fearless. A Node got pretty tight, and Clear Proof.
That is a superstar. His name is Broadsiding. He is a 3-time Group 1 winner, and he will go to start
as well. Let's have a look at the chopper shot. Here is Broadsiding just in behind horses. He angles out, and you can see that Storm Boy, who has just kicked away at the top of the straight. Geez, he ran a bold race. Traffic Warden again, he's kicking as well, and Broadsiding had to do all the work, and absolute spectacle. We spoke about how this race was going to unfold with James Pryor, and
yeah, definitely. So bases loaded went up favourite when the markets were first posted on Wednesday. He was $4.60, but that quickly changed with good support for Celestial Legend, particularly today. When I got to the races today, was $4.40 this morning. Now out now at $3.80, but he bottomed out at $3.60. I just want to see what happens in the last 5 minutes.
And they're racing. Celestial Legend was last out of the gates and being ridden up there by McAvoy. A More Victorious jumped away sharply from Punch Lane. New Endeavour going forward. Bases Loaded wasn't great out. Caught wide, rolling forward, going to fourth on the outside of Bandersnatch. Freedom Rally there on the rails. Further back to New Energy, Osipenko, Charterhouse, and Celestial Legends back equal last with Unspoken. They sort their order out. A More Victorious in front. Bases Loaded stayed wide there for the first few hundred metres, and now moves up on the outside of the front. Unspoken and Celestial Legends back last. Yes, he's last and 9 lengths off the lead. A More Victorious in front by a length to Bases Loaded. Punch Lane goes to a clear third from New Endeavour. 2 further back to Freedom Rally from New Energy. Then Bandersnatch. Celestial Legend still back last, coming around the corner. A More Victorious swings in front by a length to Bases Loaded. New Energy's done a tough wide out. Then Punch Lane from further back Bandersnatch. Osipenko at the 300. A More Victorious 2 lengths clear from Bases Loaded. Punch Lane. Then came New Endeavour. Osipenko making some ground, but A More Victorious the one to get. Inside the 150, A More Victorious 2 lengths clear. Punch Lane coming off heels from New Endeavour, but A More Victorious is going to lead all the way in the Shannon Stakes, beating Punch Lane, New Endeavour. Then Osipenko. Celestial Legend made some minor headway down the straight. On the outside of Clear Energy, then Freedom Rally. Further back to Charterhouse, Unspoken and Bandersnatch.
Well, he stole that, did Tyler Schiller, on A More Victorious. Right there, on speed, blinkers, sharpened him right up, third up into the preparation. He's been so consistent and so honest his entire racing career. That's his 6th win from 15 starts, and a really good training.
It's a terrific contest. Great to get the insight from Amy Yagi from the yard ahead of the feature, the Group 3 Sportsbet Sandown Stakes. Let's check in with the market, and Craig remains at that $2.60 price and heads our market from Nicola Vito, who's had support from earlier this week. Desert Lightning, the Kiwi Group 1 winner, has held his price at $5.
Ready and racing. Starter caught them in a great line. Craig jumped about 5th or 6th, but he's going to have to go out to last. Savannah Cloud and Griff inside of him won the start. Desert Lightning holds the fence, keeps the other 2 away from the rail. Bankmore finds a good spot. Then Magnus Spin. Nicolini Vito a little bit deep. Just a little keen there. Holy Man's going past Craig and a length and a half away. Last of all is Communist. Griff comes off the back. The Caulfield Guineas winner. Leading the way from Savannah Cloud by a neck. 2 lengths to Desert Lightning, the Kiwi. Outside of him, Bankmore, 1 back, Magnus Spin. Nicolini Vito getting the back of Bankmore. 2 lengths to Craig, just needing a bit of galloping room with Holy Man's. Communist last of all. Heads turn at the 600 metres mark. Savannah Cloud going up on the outside of Griff, and they're level pegging. Desert Lightning a length and a half away, trying to get away from the inside. Bankmore on his outside, then came further back Magnus Spin. Nicolini Vito, well back Holy Man's, saving ground Communist. Craig last, pull to the extreme outside, ripping down the centre. Desert Lightning sprinted to the front, got away by a length and a half. Running on Magnus Spin. Craig is rocketing home with Bankmore, but Desert Lightning's too far in front. Craig is absolutely screaming home, but Desert Lightning does it. By a length on the line to Craig and Magnus Spin, Bankmore, Nicolini Vito. Holy Man's, then came Communist, a cheeky run. Back in behind those runners, Savannah Cloud and Griff last in.
Well, Luke Nolan for the Moody Coleman combination. It is something we have seen for many years, and it delivers again in this afternoon's feature in the Sandown Stakes. The Group 1 winner from New Zealand. We saw him here in an All-Star Mile earlier this year. He put the writing on the wall with a good run first up in the Chautauqua. He was off and gone this afternoon on his Danger Craig, who hit a little bit of traffic in the straight. He's closed off well, but Desert Lightning, Betty, was off and gone.
Yeah, and that was what the race promised to be. Desert Lightning's going to put himself close to the speed. He parked in behind the 2 leaders.
Overall hold. So punters have latched on to Swift Falcon, $3.40, and Just Party at around the $4 mark. Media World, $6. Johnny the Kid, $8. Depth of Character, $9.50. China Season in...
The outside of Just Party, the favourite third last Swift Falcon, followed by Last Command, and Pleasure Artist is the last one. Depth of Character came across from the outside in the hands of Tom Sherry and takes the lead from Johnny the Kid a length away. Then China Sea well positioned inside Media World. 2 off to interjection in the the running line, and the outside at Just Party. A gap back to Swift Falcon, Last Command, and Pleasure Artist last of all. Inside the 800 metres, Depth of Character in a more forward roll today, leads by a half to Johnny the Kid, followed by China Sea, then Media World, Just Party Interjection, Swift Falcon from Last Command, and Pleasure Artist last of all, approaching the corner, and Depth of Character a half in front, Johnny the Kid, Media World peeling 3 wide, Interjection coming to the outside, then China Sea and Just Party strung up as they come up the rise, and Johnny the Kid gave the lead of the eye there, but quickly Media World's on the scene, and Media World takes the lead from Interjection. Swift Falcon winding up, Just Party's in a traffic jam as Swift Falcon takes the lead now, 150 out, and Swift Falcon's drawn clear from Media World. Down the outside is Pleasure Artist, but Swift Falcon is home and hose, beating on the outside, Pleasure Artist grabbing second in front of Media World, and Just Party with traffic to deal with ran fourth when clear. Then Interjection from Last Command, further back China Sea weakening out. The 2 leaders are shot ducks, Depth of Character and Johnny the Kid.
Well, deeply impressive this horse, wasn't he? And I think the runner-up too, maybe an Oaks going for her, but gee, this is a good horse. The tempo wasn't strong, and I thought just before the turn, gee, you're going to have to be very good to win Swift Falcon, and very good he is.
Yeah, that makes his win even better, that they didn't go very hard.
Stakes, a race that's for 3-year-old fillies worth $750,000. It's part of the Princess Series, and this year feels different because we're going to have a different winner of all the 4 races, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Of course, with the scratching of the Superstar Autumn Glow, it really opens up the flight stakes here.
Snow in May is particularly popular, and you can understand why. It wasn't just the fastest last 2 of the T-Rows, it was the fastest last 2 across the day. So for a horse at start number 3, it was a remarkably impressive close in that race. Lady Shenandoah, 320. It's just been on the drift a touch, but I wouldn't worry too much. Market percentage just dropping. It hasn't got scary yet. Lazura, 440 to 6.
Stakes favourite, and they're ready to jump. Racing now, Lazura flopped out of the gates last. Snow in May was second last out. Lady Shenandoah jumped all right with Miss Bustlinger, and Powers of Opal is pushing through on the inside. Might lead all of them here. Then Harlem Queen, 3 further back to Snow in May, and Lazura, who flopped out of the gates last, settles in that position. So Powers. So it's the maiden of the field, Powers of Opal in front, leads by 2 lengths to Miss Bustlinger. Harlem Queen well positioned third, a half the outside, Lady Shenandoah, a length and a half then to Snow in May, and Lazura sees them all. So the 6 fillies race towards the home corner and the Group 1 flight stakes, 600 metres to go. Powers of Opal in front, by a length to Miss Bustlinger. Then Harlem Queen, Lady Shenandoah next, 2 further back to Snow in May, and Lazura's back last of all. Coming around the turn, Powers of Opal going boldly in the lead. Miss Bustlinger under pressure. Lady Shenandoah gets going very swiftly on the outside, and here comes the lady. Lady Shenandoah put paid to Powers of Opal, and Snow Queen 2 lengths away. 200 metres to go. Lady Shenandoah's full of running. She's strong, she's robust, and Lady Shenandoah's home and hosed her in the flight stakes. Harlem Queen bursting home late, but Lady Shenandoah trounces them. Harlem Queen second, Snow in May third, Powers of Opal fourth, then Lazura, and Miss Bustlinger was last in.
We thought Zach Lloyd might have a pretty good day. Chad Schofield, his cousin, might have a good one as well. And Zach gets a second Group 1 to his name. We knew that it took a long, long time. That Ming Dynasty form looks oh so strong. She absolutely towed them, didn't she?
Yeah, of course, beating the boys there, and Mayfair coming out last week and narrowly getting beaten by some supreme colts in broadsiding and traffic warden. So really this, I just can't wait to see her in the autumn, because she's got this huge big frame and she still really hasn't figured it all out yet, and she's got a lot of growing.
With the news about the injury to Autumn Glow, but Chris Waller, as Chris Waller does, had one up his sleeve, and a good one in Lady Shenandoah, who of course won the Ming Dynasty leading into this. Provides Zach Lloyd with his second Group 1, of course, after the victory on Steffi Magnetica in the Stradbroke.
Yeah, look, incredibly proud of Zach. He's, you know, I'd love to hear what Bossy thinks about him, because, you know, obviously he's my nephew. He's a very talented individual. He's really focused, but as an observer...
Oh, he's got the potential to be a superstar. There's no doubt. He reminds me a little bit of myself when I was young. You know, he's got confidence. I love that. He can ride light. He's just got really good balance and got poise, and now he's starting to get the confidence.
Snowing May, I think that's a good form race. A lot of those fillies were not quite ready. Even Lady Shenandoah was not quite ready as a physical athlete. So what you'll see from them is a lot of improvement, especially into the autumn.
Helen Queen, could she be an Oaks type? Maybe not this spring, maybe in the autumn?
Maybe in the autumn, because you've got to remember she's come through the benchmarks. I mean, her last start prior to the run in the flight was in a benchmark race at Kembla Grange.
We've got a new favourite, and that is Bella Nipotina, assuming, of course, things haven't changed in the 5 seconds since I looked. But I will say a couple of horses in this race were probably priced on reputation as opposed to recent form. And the two I speak of are Giga Kick and Think About It. Giga Kick opened up a clear favourite in this, and given what Bella Nipotina did first up, I'm not surprised to see the switch. $2.50 now and $2.70. Think About It, $4 is hardly budged. Marzu at $8, 7 out to that quote. Will be up on speed there alongside Coal Crusher, you would imagine, 71 to 61, but nothing with us. Airman has got a cold. 30.
Now for the Premier Stakes. Stand by. And they're racing. Think About It jumped all right. Coal Crusher and Marzu were the first two into stride, and Coal Crusher's going to lead from Marzu. Think About It being restrained wide out, heavily restrained. Giga Kick gets in front of him with Airman going up the inside. Bandy's Boy and Bella Nipotina's last. It's the Joe Pride duo up front. Coal Crusher leading from Marzu, whilst Think About It's back last. Airman goes to third. Giga Kick goes to fourth. Then Bella Nipotina, Bandy's Boy, and Think About It's been snagged all the way back to last. Coal Crusher in front at the 600 metres, out by a half to Marzu. Then came Airman. Giga Kick is beautifully positioned coming to the turn. Then came Bella Nipotina, Bandy's Boy, and 2 lengths away to Think About It. It's Coal Crusher at big odds from the stablemate Marzu into the straight. Giga Kick is about to peel out. Then Bandy's Boy, Airman up the fence. Bella Nipotina riding for luck. Think About It still last. Coal Crusher, Marzu. Airman up the inside. Will this be a result for bookies? Airman went up the inside. Now Marzu starting to launch. Bella Nipotina late. Through the centre, Coal Crusher keeps coming. It's Airman and Marzu. Bella very late. Airman the inside. Marzu, I think Airman a nose to Marzu. Close up, Bella Nipotina in a 3-way go. Giga Kick took forever to warm up. Then Coal Crusher. Think About It got well back, made some headway, and Bandy's Boy was last in.
Well, what about that for a turn-up? What about that for a turn-up? Giga for a turn-up. Giga Kick was disappointing. James gave him every chance. Jason Collett probably right into his structures, but Think About It was given a very big task today. Airman, important one. And Zach Lloyd is having a day and a half.
He sure is, and he just didn't panic. He stayed on the fence.
But we'll talk about that later on, because Michael Hawkes is with Emma Freedman after this sensational upset.
My goodness gracious me, has he put his hand up to...
Giga Kick's form, and Think About It, the whole box and dice. Turnbull's not too far.
Race to dissect, probably got to watch the other 800 metres to fully understand it, but there's Airman ducking up inside them all to blouse them at quite a price as well. Marzu and Bella Nipotina in a blanket finish. It just seemed to take a bunch of these a long time to wind up, and sort of Giga Kick's the one late who's sort of really good through the line as he tries to get his Everest preparations on side. What do we make of this in relation to what it means for the Everest?
I think the tactics of the race were probably pretty questionable. I think if you had it over again, I would suggest that Joe Pride would probably decide not to go back. I read the stewards report and...
We think about it.
I think that Joe mentioned in the report that they questioned Jason Collett and they said they wanted to go back on the horse or get cover, but he thought that his 2 other horses, Coal Crusher and Marzu, would have been rolling along a lot quicker. And unfortunately, it was just a sit and sprint. So those horses in behind, they all have ticks as far as I'm concerned. The best ride won the race, not the best horse won the race. I think Bella Nipotina...
There's not much to add, really. Honestly, I completely agree. This was not even a contest. Bella Nipotina probably should be favourite now for the Everest, because what you see is what you get. She just keeps turning up regardless of slow speed, fast speed, conditions. She's there to win every time. I wouldn't drop off Giga Kick. Please don't drop off him.
I think he's still going okay.
There's not much to make up, and that was no contest. So, like he's had, I think Belneptine is the one for mine.
Yeah.
So they ran 109.73 in the Premier yesterday, home 33.46.
Yeah.
So for mine, it was basically you'd be probably stunned on form. But as you said, going to the Everest, you'd be more than happy with Bella Nipotina. You're not giving up on Giga Kick, and Think About It will be...
The winner was
ridden to be more competitive. So
the winner was home in his box.
Yeah.
But when you look through that market, okay, so when you have a look, so I wish I went back.
She sure does.
164 Group 1s for...
Through them, they are at varying prices. The favourite Unusual Legacy is the second best backed runner in the race, behind a pretty good go here, nowhere near the level of the other week with broadsiding, but $9.50 into $7. Zardozi is now the best backed runner in the race. And not far behind them, we have Future History, which is 8 out to $10, but I can tell you it is a losing result with Tab at present. Splitting a few of those, we have Land Legend. Q Tempesta has sat around that 11. Susalam 23 to 14, but no money with us. Athabaskan is the other one, 19 to 16, but no money with us. First Light, a big drifter, and the rest 26 without.
The James Squire Metropolitan, 2,400 metres, blindfolds removed, the gates are back and they're off and racing. The big field are on their way. Methuselah was one of the first into stride with Athabaskan and Future History. They're the trio vying for the front. Military Mission's going to take a prominent spot. Unusual Legacy's a lot closer than usual as well. And they're followed wide out by Serpentine, who's cast very wide in the early part. First Light plonks down midfield on the inside of Allegron. They're followed by K Tempesta, Land Legend. Zardozi caught 3 wide at the 2000. They're followed further back by Trust in You. Here's second last. So about 16 lengths covers the field, and Serpentine in the hands of Tim Clark leads the way. Methuselah is getting closer at the 1,000 metres now, 3/4 of a length away. Athabaskan leaders back, then Future History. Unusual Legacy next, looks to be a little bit deep. Then came Allegron from Military Mission. Zardozi's been 3 wide from the outset. Further back to First Light on the inside of Land Legend. 2 lengths away to K Tempesta from Trust in You. Then came Strathtay looking to improve as they start to zip things up now at the 600 metres. Serpentine a half in front to Methuselah, Future History, Athabaskan, Unusual Legacy. Land Legend starting a fast run around the field. Rhys Jones sets it alight on the outside of Zardozi as they straighten up now. Serpentine looks all out and Land Legend sustains that run coming up the rise and burst to the front with Zardozi the pursuer on the inside. It's Land Legend and Zardozi, the two protagonists in the Metropolitan. Land Legend and Zardozi, they knuckle out a great finish. Zardozi on the inside of Land Legend. Land Legend, Zardozi, nothing in this. Stride for stride, they hit the line. It's a bob of the heads. Dead set a swing of the heads there. Land Legend may have dropped it on Zardozi. It's a photo finish. Unusual Legacy and Trust in You for third. Then came Etna Rosso from Allegron. Strathtay, First Light, Serpentine. Further back to Methuselah from Wycliffe. Immediate
victory in the race with the former James Ferguson trained galloper in Land Legend, who'd come out of the Kingston Town. We know the format of that race was solidified with the performance of Alias in the Turnbull yesterday. Terrific call by Darren Flindell. Geez, he was on song yesterday with the way he talked about the two protagonists clearing out and then knuckling down with each other. Land Legend had the back of Zardozi and run. They cleared away to fight it out with Unusual Legacy, the favourite, back in third. So Land Legend, as it stands right now, has 52 kilos in the cups. You'd imagine there might be perhaps a kilo penalty coming his way, and he'd carry 53 a la Alias if he came to a Caulfield Cup.
Amazing, but thinking about Rhys Jones also won his first Group 1 and then had to survive a protest.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it could have went either way.
I don't know how can you come back from that?
I didn't think he was ever going to lose even the race and protest, but well done to Rhys. He's worked hard. He's made...
Vested interest left, right and centre. Lizzie there through her connection, of course, with the Schofields and the Lloyds. And I'm standing alongside a young woman who's married to a man who could create some sporting history here. Something that's very, very special and rare. 100 Group 1s if Kovalica were to win. It's a great race. Here's Darren Flindell for the Epsom.
Recently, Jack Carlson. Light is on. We're ready to go on the tab, Epsom. Stand by for a start. And we're ready. Here we go. Racing. And Berkshire Shadow is last out. Chaya Wolf wasn't great out. It's going to settle in the second half of a punch field. Kintyre and Major Beale were the first two out there vying for the lead. Moving forward is Arctic Glamour, Osbred Flirt handy together with Chrysaor, Redina. Royal Patronage is out very, very wide, so is My Oberon. Kovalika is going to settle dead set midfield on the fence. On the inside there, a Berkshire Shadow. Tom Kitten's about 3 and 4 wide going to the first turn and going forward as well, Tom. Joe Wolf's back in the second half of the field as they find their slots. Lock Eagles off the course in the big field. Then came Molly Bloom. Galeron got tight for room from Firestorm. Detonator Jack out deep. And Democracy Manifest is well back in the field. And McHale officially the last. 800 to go. Major Bill in front from the stablemate Royal Patronage. Kintyre leaders back third. 2 lengths away to Redina. On the outside of Arctic Glamour, Osbred Flirt. My Oberon cast wide, but staying in a wide position. Keeping up a comfortable rhythm. Followed then by Chrysaor in the middle of the ruck. They're followed then by Berkshire Shadow, Kovalika creeping up on the fence, and Tom Kitten's wide. Right behind him is the favourite Chayawalk pulling to the outside. Major Bill comes up the rise in front from Royal Patronage, Kintyre, then Arctic Glamour. Further back to My Oberon. Kovalika's looking for a gap door, got shut out there. Racing to a narrow lead as Royal Patronage. Now the favourite's coming, Chayawalk right down the outside. Tom Kitten tries to go with him, but Chayawalk with the wind and he sails, draws away for a big win in the Epsom, beating Tom Kitten. Photo third, Royal Patronage and Kovalika, followed by Arctic Glamour, then Firestorm, Major Bill, Berkshire Shadow, Kintyre, Democracy Manifest, McHale the fence. Further back to Nugget, then came Molly Bloom, Osbred Flirt, Redina, Lock Eagle, Galeron, Detonator Jack and Chrysaor. That's been a win. Chayawalk, the favourite, Holly Bloom, Osbred Flirt, Redina, Lock Eagle, Galeron, Detonator Jack and Chrysaor.
Oh, what a race, what a ride and what a win and what a day. I'm going to go to you, Lizzie. What a day for the Lloyds and Schofields and that relationship between the two of them. Chad gets a 5th Group 1, Zach gets a 2nd today as well.
Yeah, look, it's a fantastic day for the family, but I think for Chad it's a really big moment in his career because he's been overseas, he rode a Group 1 winner, a Group 1 Cox Plate as a teenager, and then he's come back. And it's not been as easy as he probably would have maybe thought it was going to be. And he's had to work exceptionally hard, like you have to do in that Sydney Jockeys Room. So this is a very, very satisfying win for him. And I'm just so pleased he's, really pulled his socks up and focused. And I'm very proud.
He really pored over the decision as to whether to go to this or the Metropolitan. That's how good this guy is, that he had the choice of a mile or 2,400. Definitely pulled the right rein yesterday. Chad Schofield gets his first Group 1 since the Queensland Derby on Sontag some 10 years ago. And there's a bunch of options on the table for the winner. The Hill Stakes next week, the King Charles perhaps against the likes of Pride of Jenny and, of course, longer range, the Golden Eagle as well. Joe Pride's 2nd Epsom after Private Eye won it back in 2021 before going down a sprinting path. It's going to be a great challenge for Joe Pride, who's such an adept trainer, to pull the right moves with a horse that he could probably get to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, he's perfect training. That tough 2000 back to a mile. Epsom's, the Randwick Mile was your wheelhouse. That was a pretty good ride and a nice horse to boot.
Well, the top 3 were all from very wide draws.
Yeah, I question the format of this race.
Really?
Yes, I do. When you got Kovalika unlucky, Tom Kitten running 2nd, and not having all the luck. Geez, I question this race. The winner is a very, very good horse, I will admit. But
see, Kovalika in the Morgan colours, the chop out there at about the 250.
I really question the format of this race, to be very honest. But full credit to the winner. He's got great turn of speed, and well done to Chad. It's been 10 years. He's had his ups and downs, and I love him. I think he's a superstar jockey, and I just love the way he's...
Yeah, quite remarkable, isn't it? Wins a Cox Plate as a teenager and then goes on to Hong Kong and those, those wonderful heights that you are on this upward curve. And when you come back to Australia, you really have to establish yourself, and that Sydney Jockeys Room is so competitive. You've got the established jockeys, really good ride. I don't agree with you. I think there's some really nice horses in that race. I think the winner is, as you said, a good horse. I think Royal Patronage is also a very good horse as well. I think those are the 2 horses I'd be taking out of the race in particular. Yeah. Because they, to me, are ones, especially Royal Patronage, who have got an incredible amount of upside. And the way that race was run didn't suit a horse like Royal Patronage. He was drawn wide, he had to do a fair bit of work, and he still stuck on at the end. And that indicates to me he can do it at both ends.
To the discussion earlier,
with broadsiding. Maybe not to run in at broadsiding, so Headline, your clear-cut favourite for the Derby. Trimming in at $211 Keeneland after his win in the previous. Declici Boulevard's very short here, looking to become the first favourite to salute at Flemington today in race 4. That's off her Flashing Star second up run.
Trying by the minute. Zardozi last year winning this en route to second in the Wakeful and winning the Oaks. She's lickety split a couple.
They're at her best, that is for sure. Geez, it's heavy rain now. Hasn't stopped punters, though, from backing your heavily backed favourite into Declici Boulevard. Into $2.10, it's one-way traffic. Looking for a little bit of value down the page for you, the 7. Too Darn Discreet has been the best backed at the price marks are in the saddle for Dan O'Sullivan. $31 to $10 to cause the upset here. But Declici...
For the Edward Manifold Stakes run in pouring rain. The field is set and they're racing at the 1,600 metres. Pretty good line away too. Dropping back towards the end of the field is Jenny's Meadow, with also All Kinds of Folk as they sort out their order in the first 300 metres. Wings of Desire, Comanche Miss, All Kinds of Folk, and then Too Darn Discreet getting back with Cavity Bay as they run through the first 600 or 700 metres of the race. And the visibility is pretty minimal out there for these horses and riders. Kildcare Beach Girl is the leader by a half length. To in second, Mollify. Wings of Desire third, followed by Star Croupier. Now, Declici Boulevard's off the rails, but over racing as they've really slackened the tempo into the wind. And behind those is All Kinds of Folk. And then 2 lengths, Comanche Miss, Too Darn Discreet, Cavity Bay, and Jenny's Meadow. So they run the corner, 500 metres to go. Kildcare Beach Girl, led by 2 lengths, Wings of Desire, followed by Mollify. All Kinds of Folk running a race. Declici Boulevard brought towards the middle of the track, and they were followed by Too Darn Discreet at the 300. Kildcare Beach Girl, a length and a quarter, Wings of Desire and Declici Boulevard, and also Too Darn Discreet the outside. Declici Boulevard, 150 to go. Too Darn Discreet levels up though and took her. Too Darn Discreet draws 3/4 of a length in front and came away to win the Edward Manifold. Declici Boulevard second. Photo for third, between Kildcare Beach Girl or All Kinds of Folk, who's run a race, then Wings of Desire. Back behind those horses, then Comanche Miss, Cavity Bay, Jenny's Meadow, well back in the field, Mollify. And
what a fantastic result for Dan O'Sullivan and his team, with his daughter of Too Darn Hot out of mare Maybe Discreet, who's been a terrific producer for his stable. Mark Zara taking over from Declan Bates, who maintained his association with Jenny's Meadow today. And it has added up to a victory in the Group 2 Edward Manifold off a Hillside Maiden victory.
Best caller in the world. What can we throw out and really challenge him? And they came up with that yesterday, and he responded just absolutely beautifully.
Isn't that a great insight into the work they do, though? Like, you know, the movement, the fidgeting, and trying to get it right.
Credit to our camera guys who do the work and try and frame the shots, you know, tweak with contrast on screens and all those sorts of things to make the caller's job easier, and obviously the viewers as well. So this was the victory of Too Darn Discreet. Or maybe it was in the numbers. Dan O'Sullivan won this race in 2000 with So Gorgeous. 12 years later, Too Darn Discreet's Dan Maybe Discreet won the race. So 12-year intervals, it all adds up in the end.
Yeah, Dan O'Sullivan deserves a lot of credit. He is a very good trainer, places his horses brilliantly. They always look $1 million in the yard. Also, I thought a couple of horses that have notable mentions, Declici Boulevard. She over-raced, from what I could see, she over-raced for a good portion of the race. Comanche she missed, but certainly Declici Boulevard, she just pulled the entire race, and that really took it out of her at the end.
I'll ask some of the...
if we had went to a 5 and we have these continuous showers, it probably would have stopped raining but then deteriorated a little as it went on. So going to a 6, I think the riders will come in after this and feel it's closer to a 6 and a 5.
All right, let's look at race 5 now. Really good spread of money with a drifting favourite here, First Settler, getting out to a real juicy price for punters. If you like the favourite, hold. $4.20 now for you from the opening quota, $3.30. A Reserve Bank also $3.40 out to $4.60, but we are holding good money on those 2 runners. Now, Bodyguard off one trial here from Sydney. He won the Maribyrnong trial this time last year, 12 months ago. So he's $5.
Tough race. I'm going to go with First Settler. I've been with this fellow for a fair while now and it's hard to go past him, but in saying that, I tell you what, there's some beautiful young horses in this field and you could make a case for...
Out. He's drifting out to $4.60 here, punters, so interesting betting race. We're holding more money on Bodyguard than any runner in the race, trimming from $8 to $5.50. Tarpaulin is...
And the field is set to go for the Danehill. ready to run at Group 2. Set at the 1100. Set, and away they go. Pretty good line too, and knees are away fairly. Aardvark out fast, and also Lofty Archers showing speed shortly after the get-go from Aardvark second. Then Enriched on the outside, almost making a line of 3. Savagery Vibe over on the inside is pretty keen and is about a length and a half off the speed. Behind those horses then is Bitter Creek, and Knees is up behind that leading wall. Reserve Bank is one of the widest. Tarpaulin behind them from First Settler, and Bodyguard is at the end of the field. Lofty Arch and also Aardvark together as they link onto the course proper. 550 metres to go by 2 lengths. Enriched, and then came Savagery Vibe and Bitter Creek. Out wide Reserve Bank. Curry hasn't moved yet. First Settler over on the far side with a bit to do. Then Tarpaulin, and next to Nisa and Bodyguard. It's Lofty Arch. 250 metres to go, about a length and a half. Reserve Bank and First Settler's getting right up along the inside. Then came Tarpaulin. First Settler, 100 metres to go. Reserve Bank is wearing it down. Reserve Bank trying to get First Settler. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. A photo, it looks to be First Settler though, from Reserve Bank, followed by Enriched, and next Tarpaulin and Lofty Arch. Behind them Savagery Vibe in company with Aardvark. Then came Bitter Creek, Bodyguard and Anisa. It'll be a photo, but it'll be on the inside. First Settler. First Settler will win it. Will win by a half head from Reserve Bank.
It's the Price Kent Colts in the 2024 Danehill. First Settler draws one back to the inside and now has 3 wins in 4 career starts. Gets a Group 2 victory on his page as a son of Written Tycoon. His only loss so far is to a budding star in Growing Empire, and we might see them meet again here in 4 weeks' time come the Coolmore on Derby Day. Reserve Bank, though, he loses no admirers. They'd taken him to the provincials for comfortable victories.
It's hard to knock what First Settler's been doing so far. His only defeat is to a budding star in Growing Empire, who went awfully close to winning a Manicato a couple of Fridays ago. He's a horse that, speaking of horses that have been very well managed, Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. have taken him through out of sort of the winter racing as a late season 2-year-old, and they've done a power of work to get this guy to where he is compared to where he was as a 2-year-old when they had to scratch him at the gates from a debutante stakes because he was playing up.
Is this the form, the top form for the 3-year-olds? Do we think that this is who would we want to be with, a Growing Empire or a First Settler? Even though he's been placed really well, I think a Growing Empire to me has the absolute wood on a field like this.
Yeah, Growing Empire. I think they made a mistake by putting the blinkers on him the other night. He got there and he just didn't know where he was. You know, he come off some really good form, that horse, so he's the one for mine, Growing Empire.
Yeah, look, he's going terrific, but I think Growing Empire is the one that I'd want to be with. I know this is a lead into a race like the Coolmore, but I think there's, would I dare say it, it's probably a rung below, in my opinion.
So a bit can happen in the next month. If Growing...
It's to be done before.
Growing Empire is $250 for the Coolmore, so the market certainly does agree that that's the way to go. But if something went wrong, and we don't want that to happen, I think the first 2 across the line in that race will go on and have really nice spring preparations from here and on what was...
And they're racing. Sir Lucan away fairly, Just Fine out well with Berkshire Breeze and Point King. Horrifying's nice and close with also El Bodegon as they reach the judge. St George from that wide gate is about 6th and 3 and 4 deep as they charge past the post. Next behind those Mission of Love and a Maid the inside from Manzois, Sir Lucan. Well back is Positivity, Interpretation and Mostly Cloudy drag back to the tail of the field. Out of the running towards the riverside, and it's Just Fine the leader. 2,000 metres to go by 2 lengths to in second Point King, a similar gap. El Bot Interpretation is last at Chiquita Lodge. So the leader is Just Fine at an even speed in the Bart Cummings by 2 lengths to Point King. El Bodegon is third, and Berkshire Breeze fourth on the rails. A length and a half to Horrifying, followed by a Maid. Next in the field past the 1,000 is St George. Then came Mission of Love and Manzoist. There's been no change in the order. Positivity about to slide 3 deep now. Interpretation latching onto its back. Well back Sir Lucan, and Mostly Cloudy is just fine. Just put the foot down there as they reach the 700 marker. So the leader is just fine by about 2.5 lengths to Point King and El Bodegon. Berkshire Breeze has had a lovely run on the inside. They come around the turn. Next in the field is St George into Daylight. Behind those horses, Horrifying, and then came a gap to a Maid. Well back Manzoist, just fine as raced clear. 350 metres to go. 4 lengths in front of Berkshire Breeze, Point King, Horrifying, St George and a Maid. Can just fine get there. 250 metres to go. Still a good 4 lengths in front of Berkshire Breeze, Point King, a Maid. Then St George, just fine, needs the line, starting to paddle, led by about 2 lengths. A Maid and Point King, just fine, really needs the line. It's getting desperate. A Maid comes at it, misses. Just fine has done it, just got there. The first Tuesday awaits, has just beaten a Maid or Point King. A photo for 4, Positivity, Mission of Love and Interpretation.
Often they can peak and then they can lose the plot. You know, they're not machines, they're animals. And he just trained off, and then we just kept tapping away. And when I saw him the other day and he raced at Caulfield, I wasn't happy with him. And we just sort of gave him a little bit more work and just did different things. And I just knew today they'd have to really have to try hard to beat him.
So has it just been a matter of building that endurance base back up for him?
I think so, and getting his fitness level right there. And he's got lovely cruising speed. And
24 degrees and sunny, but I know that's wishful thinking. So we pick up the Bart Cummings at the 1,200 metre mark yesterday. Gai Waterhouse and Adrian Bott had already had quite the day with their 2-year-olds in both states. Now they get themselves a Melbourne Cup runner, and just fine, bouncing back. It'd been in the wilderness a little bit, admittedly, after the Metropolitan win last year, and then, remember, did start favourite in the Might and Power last year when Alligator Blood was dominant. This horse put in a poor performance. Nothing wrong with it yesterday. All credit to Jordan Childs, carving out 13 after 13 after 13 in regards to sectionals. And the story that's attached to this is the My Racehorse syndication, the micro ownership, which is such a uniquely Australian opportunity for rank and file people out there to, you know, pay their $29.95 a month, and now they're going to own a Melbourne Cup winner and a Melbourne Cup runner, and it'll probably swell the crowd by about 5,000 on Melbourne Cup Day.
And not just Melbourne Cup Day. I'm looking forward to the excitement with the parade and whatnot, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be involved in a horse this good and have a Melbourne Cup runner. It's something I've got nowhere near in my very unsuccessful ownership career. So it's just great for racing to get people involved.
I wonder if they'll all go to the call of the card together and maybe like chuck in a 10 or a 5 and then just...
Well, they did it yesterday. It was very soft.
The race was run. Does that then raise concerns around where this group is heading towards the Cups?
Yeah, I do think so. But this race was owned by Jordan Childs. It was a brilliant ride. But the horse, he may improve coming to this run, but I can't see the winner. I just don't see it.
Now, I've got the green light to tell this story, so don't...
Ready at the 2,000 metres. Starter has them. Ready and away. Towards the back, Via Sistina early with also Banker's Choice. Plastic Carousel began well. Young Verta ridden with aggression. Duke de Sessa's up there 3 wide with Bois d'Argent. They were followed by Circle of Fire improving. LES 5 and 6 deeps also searching up. Then came a Tissue, Francesco Gardi. Back in the field settling down as Buckaroo with Via Sistina. They were followed by Valiant King. In the back half is Knight's Choice with also Warmonger and Sharp and Smart. And then towards the back, Witor and also Banker's Choice at the 1400 metres. The leader is Duke de Sessa in the Turnbull by a length and a half. Elias got to second from that outside draw. Two further back is Bois d'Argent, a length and 3/4 Young Verter, and then came Plastic Carousel. 2.5 lengths away in the field is a Tissue on the rails from Circle of Fire. Sharp and Smart's on a limb, has only one option to force up. They were followed by Via Sistina, who's tracking wide from Buckaroo, and then came Francesco Gardi. A length and a half Warmonger, 3 deep around Knight's Choice, and they were followed well back by Valiant King, Banker's Choice and Huitor. Duke de Sessa kept them moving at the 850 by 3/4 of a length. LES, if anything, getting a little bit closer. They're a length and 3/4 Bois d'Argent and Young Verter, followed by Plastic Carousel, who's 4 off the lead. 2 lengths of Tissue, Sharp and Smart, Circle of Fire from Francesco Gardi. Via Sistina's looking for a back to follow into it, and they were followed well back by Buckaroo, who has 10 lengths to pick up from Warmonger, Knight's Choice, and then came Valiant King and well back Banker's Choice. So Elias moves up on the outside of Duke de Sessa. 400 metres to go, 2 lengths Young Verter, Bois d'Argent. They were followed by a Tissue into the clear. Via Sistina very wide, and Buckaroo is winding up too. Duke de Sessa at the 200 metres, and Elias there stride for stride. Here's Buckaroo right down the outside with Via Sistina. Duke de Sessa kicking. Via Sistina and Buckaroo are coming together. Buckaroo and Via Sistina. Via Sistina and Buckaroo. Via Sistina. A terrific win, beat Buckaroo. Elias third from Duke de Sessa. Then came Young Verter and a Tissue. Francesco Gardi. Behind them, Plastic Carousel, Circle of Fire, Valiant King and Warmonger. Huitora's next. Sharp and Smart, Knight's Choice, Bois d'Argent and Banker's Choice.
Yeah, she's obviously was the class horse in the field, and I rode her accordingly, and albeit I still think she didn't love the ground, it wasn't as testing as last time out, so I think she can improve again under firmer footing.
Well, she's pulled up a treat, so clearly that run hasn't taken a lot out of her, and there's a lot more in store for her.
She was fantastic today. Look, her run last start was so far away from her true form that you could do nothing else other than put a pen through it. So we're confident that she would bounce back today, and yeah, she was tough. Obviously, Buckaroo is the man on the scene at the moment. You know, he was going for 3 wins in a row, and he's dug deep and still been narrowly denied. So fantastic for the whole team. Everyone, you know, when you go into a race at $1.80 to Group 1 level and you fail, there's a lot of hard sleeps over the next few weeks to bring her back here and to perform like that. It's pretty special for everyone involved with her, and you know, fantastic for Yulong because they really stump up.
Of the Turnbull Stakes on an annual basis, it's such a pointer to the Spring Majors, perhaps more so along the lines of perhaps the Caulfield Cup than the Cox Plate yesterday, but clearly the standout is Via Sistina in relation to the 2040 metre Classic in 3 weeks' time. She reasserted herself yesterday, of course, off a disappointing performance, and there were circumstances attached to it in the Maccabi Diva. Bossy, to you first of all, Damien Lane wins his first Turnbull at his 10th attempt. What did you make of the steer?
Yeah, brilliant. Just put her in the right spot, got her in great rhythm. And he alluded to her after the race. He rode her like she was the best horse in the race. You nailed it. She was brilliant first up, but there was circumstances for her getting beaten. I spoke to Chris Wally, he said she just wasn't right on the day, and he expected her to bounce back, and she did bounce back in empathic. And you watch
Young Verter, Bois d'Argent, they were followed by a Tissue into the clear. Via Sistina very wide, and Buckaroo is winding up too. Duke de Sessa at the 200 metres, and Elias there stride for stride. Here's Buckaroo right down the outside with Via Sistina. Duke de Sessa kicking. Via Sistina and Buckaroo are coming together. Buckaroo and Via Sistina. Via Sistina and Buckaroo. Via Sistina. A terrific win, beat Buckaroo. Elias third from Duke de Sessa. Then came
so this
Young Verter.
Impeccable record that Via Sistina at 2,000 metres continues. Lizzie, where do you see her in the mix of the Cox Plate as we were just talking about?
Well, she's well up there. We know that. My only reserve is that her around the valley, but Chris will get her there, make sure that she works around there. She's a very, very big mare, but she's got a tremendous will to win. It was really good to see her back because I don't like seeing mares put in bad performances through their preparation, but we've seen with Pride of Jenny, she bounced back, and lots of good mares can do that. So she's very talented. The horse that has just exceeded my expectations is Buckaroo. He's always trialled really nicely. He's always put up performances that have been past marks, but since he's been gelded, he's become Mr. Consistent, and that's the sort of horse that I think can continue on and win races like potentially a Caulfield Cup. Elias was excellent as well. He plummets to 53 in a Caulfield Cup, so he's the one that I think is going to gain a lot of traction during the next few weeks, and he's got that great racing style. I mean, you just want to be up on speed in those sorts of races and tough it out.
Yeah. Do not pass go $100, Buckaroo.
Yeah,
they should go to a Caulfield Cup rather than a Cox Plate.
Oh, 100% go towards Caulfield Cup. He cannot win a Cox Plate. I'd say it's that simple. I'm agree with you. I thought he was just a good fringe dweller Group 2 horse. He failed in the proper Group 1s, but now he's put his hand up and say, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins a Caulfield Cup, but I'm in your Elias.
Yeah.
I just love his pattern. I just love the way he's going about his business, and he should be basically Caulfield Cup favourite now.
Well, Turnbull's been an incredible pointer for the Caulfield Cup specifically. I think it's 7 of the last 11 Australian and New Zealand trained winners of the race have come via the Turnbull as one of their lead-up runs. And Lizzie, you mentioned it, both the place getters out of yesterday dropped 3.5 kilos into a Caulfield Cup. It seems the perfect setup.
It does seem a great setup for them, and they're just in terrific form. I've sort of questioned Elias a couple of times when I've seen him. Thought he was really good first up in Sydney, and then he had a break, came back, and I questioned how good his trials were, but you can't quantify how big his heart is. He's very tough to the line. He's got so much fitness. Saw him in the yard yesterday and he looked $1 million. So he's on an upward curve, and Buckaroo, as I mentioned, always had a lot of time for him, but he has been a bit disappointing off of what we've seen of him early days. Since the gelding operation, it's been a completely different Buckaroo, and when Chris's horses are in form like that, they're very, very hard to beat.
Is that it? Do we rule a line at the top 3 and pretty much every other horse outside of them isn't going to be perhaps a contender in our majors?
Well, Warmonger, he was favourite. He was horrible there yesterday.
Second up run.
Yeah, it could have been. So
he literally has doubled in quote for the Caulfield Cup. So if you think that the team's going well and the horse is still on track, you're now getting $15 where he was $7.50 yesterday.
What I don't like about Warmonger is not there when you need him. Like, you need a horse to, especially at Caulfield, you need a horse to take you. He's under pressure at the wrong time of the race, and yeah, he can be good late, but in a Caulfield Cup when there's a shuffle up and things go wrong, you need a horse that's going to take you somewhere where you can let them go, and he's not that type.
Which is in, I suppose, contrast to how we've seen Buckaroo win an Underwood and then position himself in that race yesterday, that he does seem to be both prominent and able to make good moves under Joe at the right time.
I can see Warmonger running well in a Caulfield Cup, but running better in a Melbourne Cup.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, some horses grow a leg and some horses are not as good. I remember Fields of Omar used to head to the Valley and he was just a completely different horse. So for her, I just would like to see her go there, have a look at it. James, I think that will probably be the horse that he will pick to ride, I would suggest, because he can't make the weight on broadsiding. And, of course, Damien Lane is riding Prognosis. So you would think that...
Comes out, wins the Tour and heads there as well.
Yeah, good.
That's as juicy a Cox Plate as you're going to get.
100%.
Is there any meat on the shorter prices you want to take?
Well, if I was wanting to ride one, I'd be riding broadsiding.
Yeah.
That would be my pick right now. I'd start wasting and running.
Chopping off limbs.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of him. And Via Sistina, I think they're the two for mine.
Field is locked away. Group 2 Gilgai. Stand by for a start at the 1200s. Ready, gates are back and away, and Crosshaven away fairly. Ripcord was a little bit sluggish away. Sharippa began quickly with Jungle Jim and Laws of Indices. Magic Time is going to tuck in behind them. Up the outside, Arkansas Kid is also up there. So it's the Rupert Lee Silks that are prominent in the early 200 or 300 metres of the race. Jungle Jim with Arkansas Kid, who attaches itself to its back. Sharippa, Laws of Indices, Magic Time, and then Chain of Lightning, Johnny Rocker, Crosshaven, followed by Ripcord. Behind them, Stretton Angel, Right to Party. Party and the Astrologist is at the end of the field, heading towards the course proper. 700 metres to go. Jungle Jim by a length, Arkansas Kid and Sharippa. 2 lengths Laws of Indices, followed by Magic Time and Chain of Lightning, Ripcord and Crosshaven. Johnny Rocker well back, followed by Right to Party, the Astrologist and Stretton Angel. 350 metres to go. Arkansas Kid under a grip, tanks up on the outside and claims Jungle Jim. They get away from Magic Time, followed by Ripcord and Right to Party running on. Arkansas Kid at the clock tower, still 2 lengths. Magic Time and Right to Party's coming hard. Arkansas Kid, 50 metres to go. Right to Party wearing it down. It's going to be tight, very tight. Close photo. Right to Party or Arkansas Kid, the judge can have it. Stretton Angel and Magic Time behind those in photos. Then Ripcord, Laws of Indices, Johnny Rocker. Next to finish, Chain of Lightning, the Astrologist, Crosshaven and Sharippa. Photo finish. Right to Party diving at Arkansas Kid, and it's close. It's very close indeed. Low angle shows Right to Party, and it wins. Right to Party becomes the second horse to win the Ori Star and the Gilgai in the same year. Will just win from Arkansas Kid, and Stretton Angel closing in for third ahead of Magic Time. Another thriller, but Right to Party is the winner. Number 14, Jai McNeil for Anthony and Sam Friedman.
Yeah.
One. This Galloping Grey has worked their way through. Oh, I made that rhyme. Sound like Dr. I've been reading too much stuff to my kids, clearly. So she's gone from winning a Creswick in the depths of winter as a late season 3-year-old to winning an Ori Star. She was okay in a Bobby Lewis, maybe with some circumstances against her. And then this was a terrific performance yesterday in the Gilgai.
Certainly was. She's in terrific form at the moment. Rode her exactly how she's been running in her best races, just riding her cold and patient. A couple of horses exceeding expectations. I thought Arkansas Kid was terrific. He found the line really strongly. He's in really, really good order. You can see a horse back in the lime colours. The one that I wanted to follow out of the yard is Stretton Angel. I think she's got so much improvement still to come in her. So she found the line beautifully. But as you mentioned, she's putting this tidy record together. Flemington is her real wheelhouse. A couple of pass marks, Magic Time, I thought did a terrific job as well. But she's just going super at the moment, along with Arkansas Kid.
Well, Arkansas Kid's the sprinting version of Buckaroo. He's been gelded and found his mojo.
Can do the world of can do a lot in the world of good, can't it?
Izzy and Benny about, well, do they need to think a little bit longer range and get her down in the weights in a race like a Newmarket?
Yeah, because of the way that she handles the straight, I'm sure they'd have all of that in the back of their mind. But when a mare's in form, you've just got to keep, I think you just keep rolling along. And she loves their getting, well, she's won in good tracks as well, but getting her toe into the ground, she appreciates that. So there's a lot of elements about her that she's going well at the moment. You could give her that sort of that toughen up run in a Group 1, and then you get her down in the weights and she's in a Newmarket and loving the straight.
Bossy on...
Voila, that $71 was taken. You can have 17 now. And also down the bottom, no, that'll just about do us. I reckon Anahita was the best backed at the price. But Revolutionary Miss and Skybird dominating turnover for race 10. Chances are you're about to...
With Fortunate Kisses back. Next in the field, Molly Nickers, Tis Invincible from Miss Aria, and Skybird from the outside alley drag back to the end. Approaching the 600 marker, it's Legacies just in front. From Road to Arataki, Revolutionary Misses poised behind them, just needing it out. Poifect about to slide 3 wide, tracked by Cast, then Fortunate Kiss, Anahita, Tis Invincible and Lady in Pink behind them from Molly Nickers. So it's Legacies dashing up at the 350. Revolutionary Misses getting off her back, and then came Road to Arataki, Tis Invincible, Miss Aria, and Skybird is letting loose out very deep. Revolutionary Miss at the 150, just in front of Legacies. Skybird is coming hard with Miss Aria. Revolutionary Miss just in front of Miss Aria. It's going to be close. Revolutionary Miss has just won the last from Miss Aria, Skybird, then Legacies. Next Lady in Pink. Further back Anahita, Tis Invincible and Cast, and behind them Fortunate Kiss pulling up alongside of Molly Nickers. Well back in the field, Poifect and Road to Arataki.
She's bomb-proof, Revolutionary Miss, and can she go to another level with the change of stable? Holds off the graduating class of new season mares in Miss Aria and Skybird, who are flying on from the back after drawing wide gates. It's been a solid enough day for Mark Zahra, and he are victorious aboard Revolutionary Miss in the Rose of Kingston. He's alongside Charlotte.
That race in 4 or so weeks' time. She's, of course, switched from the Snowdens to Kieran Maher, and she was an outstanding galloper, obviously, in her time with the Snowdens. She's not going to go backwards in Kieran's operation, and that was the case yesterday, seeing off part of this graduating class of 3 and now 4-year-old mares. It seems like we've got a really rich group at the moment, and Miss Ari and Skybird are going to have their time in the sun at some stage as well.
You mentioned Skybird racing so well without a lot of luck. I'd love to see Skybird be able to draw a nice gate and potentially race on a track where it's not too much of a disadvantage to be right back in the field. But the winner, Revolutionary Miss, she just puts herself in the right spot each and every time. She's so consistent. She can race at all the different tracks, and if you're looking for a nice sort of one that just below the top tier at this time of year, she's the one.
Which bobbed up every season. She's a runner-up in a Blue Diamond, and she's still getting it done at 5.
Yeah, at 2-year-old all the way through to 5. That shows her longevity. She's been managed really well, as you mentioned, by the Snowdens, and then now with Kieran Maher. But as you said, she puts herself in the right spot. Exactly what Zahra said. She just puts herself there. She is a horse that's easy to ride, very versatile, finds the line, and they invariably win lots of races, as opposed to Skybird and Miss Aria, back markers. They've got a lot of work to do to find the line. I thought there were a couple of nice runs in behind as well. I thought Tis Invincible was much more improved than what we've seen of her so far. So you can make a case for a couple of those horses in behind, but she's just completely bomb-proof.
Yep. Talking about backmark.
They invariably win lots of races, as opposed to Skybird and Miss Aria, back markers. They've got a lot of work to do to find the line. I thought there were a couple of nice runs in behind as well. I thought Tis Invincible was much more improved than what we've seen of her so far. So you can make a case for a couple of those horses in behind, but she's just completely bomb-proof.
Yep. Talking about backmarkers, it's like